Welcome, everybody, to the Jim Masters Show Live. How are all of you? We hope you're having a good day. It is Friday. We made it through another week together. Is that not amazing? And we did it in style on the Jim Masters Show Live, Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Hope everybody is doing well. I hope you're in good spirits. If you're not in good spirits, well, you have found the right spot. This is our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series that we've been doing since, late spring of last year, day after day after day, just about 7 days a week, live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Hope you will subscribe to our channel. Please do that. We would love it because it really does help the show. By subscribing to our YouTube channel, it allows us to actually create more content, more of the entertainment, inspiration, information, all the cool things we do on our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Those of you who've done that already, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Don't forget to hit the notification bell as well, so that way there you don't miss any of our amazing content that we present on the Jim Masters Show Live, plus also other content we have on that page as well. Good to have you with us, everybody, regardless of what time zone you're in, or if you're watching this possibly on demand. You're not watching it live, you're watching it later. A lot of our viewers do watch our shows later. We realize that you have busy lives and can always be here live. And not everybody that watches comments as well. We have our regulars, our faithful lovedies that love to participate and comment. That's why we love doing the show live. But many people just quietly watch it live and they don't comment, and others watch it later. And that's fantastic. However you watch it, as long as you're enjoying our continuing series of episodes of the Jim Masters Show Live. I am your host, Jim Masters, television, radio, presenter, personality, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC, voiceover artist. Been doing this work for a long time. And we launched this as a place for inspiration, positivity, good times, lots of levity, education building, knowledge building, and of course, levity, the word we created accidentally when I said love and levity too quickly in the summertime, and look what happened. Levity. All of the viewers call themselves the Levities. They call me Mr. Levity. They call our studio here, our home studio, which is in the greater New York area between New York and Boston along the southern New England coast in the United States of America. They call this Levity Hall, and I love that. And we toast all of you this evening. Good to have you with us. We welcome you and you and you and you from all around the world. We do have an international audience here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We've got an amazing show in store. Pianist and violinist and award-winning composer David Shenton is here. He's going to perform live. He's actually at the piano as we speak. He's got his piano, he's got his violin, and also his lovely wife is going to be joining us as well. We'll introduce her momentarily as well. Lots of great music, lots of terrific conversations. So you're going to be really entertained this Friday night. Spread the word about our show. People say, well, what can we do to support your show? Just tell other people about it. Spread the word. I love the YouTube channel. Those that are on Facebook right now, click a like on the Facebook page. Share the links. Tell everybody. Binge watch the shows. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as well, and Periscope and Twitch at Jim Masters TV. But let's welcome our lovely viewers. We'll go through the ranks here. We don't get a chance to show every single comment because obviously there's a lot of movement on this show and production elements and things happening, and we've got our guest, but we will thumb through a few of them here just to greet all of you this evening, and it's nice to see everybody. So Willie is here, and Willie says, hello, Jim, and all loveties. That's fantastic. Good to see you, and I hope you're doing well, and it's always a pleasure. I'm going to take a little sip here. I toast again to all of you. I want to put this huge glass down before I drop it. We don't want to drop this, right? You don't want to drop that, especially not live on TV or in this case online. So hello, Jim, and all loveties. Good to see you, Willie. I hope you're doing well. Suzette is here. Hello, Jim, David, and all the loveties. Suzette from Portugal is watching live. It's nice to see you as well from Portugal. Mary Bishop is here from Pine Island, Florida. Good to see you, Mary. Welcome, 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 welcome. I love that mug that you sent. As you can see, I've been using that mug, and this one hair just wants to do its thing here. You notice that? Hair's getting long, isn't it? I look like a conductor. Hello, Jim and lovely friends from Mary in Florida. Good to see you as well. And yes, Portugal is in the house. Thank you very much, Portugal. Nice to see you here. And hello, dear Jim. Thank you for producing another opportunity to laugh, learn, and love one another. Welcome to you, David and Lovedies. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tesla Bella in Florida. Maureen is here. Hey, Lovedies, I'm on time tonight. I actually left work early, but I have to go in tomorrow. COVID doesn't know it's the weekend. Hashtag nurse life. Maureen, beautiful work you're doing, and toast to you as one of our first responders. Lovely work that you're doing, and we welcome you. And Maureen welcomes David to the show. Welcome to Lovedy Hall, and can't wait for this evening's entertainment. There's going to be a lot of it, so I hope you're in the mood for that, and I hope you're going to maybe wiggle around in the living room. Jenna Zen usually likes to do that. You know how she does kitchen dancing and couch wiggling and bed wiggling. She does all these she does a lot of wiggling in Allentown, Pennsylvania, but we love it. Maureen is here. Good to see you, Maureen, again. And yes, thank you for your service, Maureen, as well. I have several family members that are in healthcare, and we bless them as well. A lot of essential workers, actually. Good to see everybody. Suzette in Portugal welcomes David. And Cynthia says, Cynthia and David are here. Cynthia Shaw, welcome to the show on Jim Masters TV on YouTube. We love that. If you could subscribe to the channel, we would love it even more. It helps us big time. Erin is here. Hey, Cynthia and David. Good to see you. Erin Shields, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. We love having you here. And let's see. Let's take a look at more of the comments related to the show. Hello, all waiting patiently for this wonderful broadcast. Here we are, Wayne Line. Good to see you. Good things come to those who wait, right? And we appreciate that. Nice to have you with us, Wayne. Hope you're doing well. Byron Bellows is here. So looking forward to this. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you are here. Welcome, Byron Bellows. That's a cool name, Byron Bellows. I love that name. Merlin is here from Ontario, Canada. Welcome, Merlin. Good Friday, Jim and all Lovedies. Good to see you as well. Greeting. Happy New Year, David and Erin. We appreciate that. And Jennifer is watching in her pajamas, blanket couch. Jen is Zen. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Carla, the gate to the lovely world has opened. Good evening, Jim and gang. Glad to be here this Friday night. Thank you very much. Carla watches from Brazil, from South America all the time. She's one of our faithful Lovedies. Again, the viewers call themselves the Lovedies because the show is all about Lovedy. And because I came up with that word accidentally in the summertime. Thank you, Willie. Willie watches in the Netherlands, in Holland. Good to see you, Willie. I hope you're doing well and feeling well. Kathleen Walker. Hi, Jim. Hope everyone. Hi, everyone. Hope you are well. A lot of well wishes here on our show. Kathleen, you as well as can be. June Rachelson Osper, dear friend, is here. June here, checking in New York City. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. I love this. I love all these emojis. People getting fancy with the emojis here, huh? Christine, good to see you. Welcome. Watching on our YouTube channel. Nice to have you here. And toast to all of you as well. And June says he's the best, and wife too, love him. And thank you very much, Karen, who's watching in Nova Scotia. Marcia Lyon, dear friend. We met actually through public television. She's in Massachusetts. Good evening, Jim. I'm looking forward to this evening with David and hopefully Erin. Yes, Erin's going to be here as well. I met him a few times when he accompanied Paul Byram. We were just talking about that, sending out lots of lovely Paul Byram, of course, you know, originally with Celtic Thunder and has his own brilliant solo career. We do send our love out to Paul Byram and family. His grandmother passed away, Paul Byram's grandmother. So we send our condolences to Paul and to his family at this sad time. And we also send get well wishes to Ryan Kelly from Celtic Thunder because he's been dealing with COVID-19. So we send our best to Ryan as well. Tough times out there right now. Everybody hang in and hang together. Good to see you, Marcia. And Wayne says they're both amazing and talent personality as well. Love it, love it, love it. I agree. And Karen in Nova Scotia says, good evening, Jim, and all of my lovely family. We appreciate that. Christine Clifton says, greetings, Jim and Lovelies. Happy National Hat Day. That's right. And if you saw the photos I posted on the Facebook pages, we didn't wear the hat today. Sometimes I do on our show, one of the hats, the many hats I have. We posted some cool shots of all the different hats I've worn over the years, or have worn over the years, that is. Welcome, pianist, violinist, composer David Shenton to the show. Terrific music in Lovety Hall tonight. You got it. Wayne says a toast to you, Jim. Thank you very much. Good stuff. Good stuff. Love it. Tess says, wow, so handsome, Jim. Thank you very much. Make sure you wear your glasses. Kathleen Walker says, love that shade of blue. Believe it or not, there's pants to match too. But you'll have to guess if I have those on. Online, you don't know. You like the longer hair. Yes, I haven't had the hair cut since last March. We're going to see if we can get it to a 1 year period, and then we might have to do that. Hello, Jim. I'm late tonight, but I'm here. And good stuff. Levity, lovety, and light. Good stuff. We love it. We love it. We love it. Jack Callahan is here. Hey, good to see you, Jack. Up in, if it's the same Jack that I know, Jack in New Hampshire, who works for public television, WGBH in Boston. And good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Thank you so much, Mary and Jim. Absolutely. And many, many more. We'll go through them. Again, there's a lot that always come in, and there's tons of them here. I see all these different ones that are coming in. Thanks for all the welcomes. Thanks for all the greetings. And nice to have you with us. Let's welcome our very special guest to the show. Again, he's an extraordinary pianist and violinist and composer, and he's absolutely brilliant at what he does, and it's a pleasure to have him here. Turns out we have so many mutual friends, which I didn't realize. David Shenton is an English-born pianist, violinist, composer, and arranger based in New York City. As a pianist and music director, David has worked with renowned members of the music profession in all genres, including Vanessa Williams and Tony Bennett, Norm Lewis, Zach Levi, and so many others, Alfie Bøe, Renée Fleming, Marilyn Maye, Liz Callaway, of course, Sir André Previn, Michael Feinstein, and Amanda McBroom, who we've had on the show as a guest, Katie Couric, and Alan Menken, Stephen Schwartz. His proficiency in multiple genres has allowed him to work at prestigious venues, including, of course, Carnegie Hall and Lincoln Center and so many other brilliant places. He's absolutely extraordinary at what he does, and he is renowned, and he's also very busy. We were talking about, the busyness of the work because he's multi-talented, a multi-instrumentalist, but also so incredible at being able to just create entertainment. He's always called upon for so many fabulous projects, and we're very excited to have him here. His wife will also be joining him momentarily, but let's welcome him live and direct from New York City at the piano, just like he is there at the piano in New York from his home. David, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jim. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, my friend. How are you? And welcome. It's nice to see you.
It's great. Listen, I always get nervous. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm so nervous before a performance, and I'm in the wings, and I just can't stay still, and my wife has to calm me down. And I must say, all the love from all the lovities has made me feel really, really welcome. So thank you, everybody around the world, and thanks for the beautiful comments, and the people I know who have already written beautiful comments. Thank you. I hope to see you guys soon, and let's have fun tonight.
Absolutely. I know you've been looking forward to coming on the show. We've planned this for a while, and you've been watching the shows. You've been a viewer. You've been a consumer of the Jim Masters Show live, huh? I appreciate that.
Yeah, I've been watching your show for a long time, but I refreshed, the format and everything recently because I wanted to just kind of see how people, react to your questions and that kind of stuff. So I specifically looked at people who I knew who'd been on the show, people like Amanda McBroom and, Paul Byram and Chloe Agnew, people like that. And then I was looking through Paul's video, and then I saw myself on the TV, and I was in the PBS special that Paul did, and there I am playing the piano with Phil Coulter conducting and Paul singing Danny Boy. So I think technically that means I've been on your show before. Is that right?
I would say you probably have. That's right. If it was when Phil was on and when Paul was on, absolutely. And both great guys, and a pleasure to have them on as well. Christine actually has a comment here. David Shenton is composing 2 operas as well, premiering virtually April and June live. Fantastic, huh?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later for sure. Yeah, I've part of I think that everything bad, out of something bad comes something good. So the one thing about COVID that's really been good for me is that I've had to knuckle down and start writing. So I've written 2 operas, and they'll be produced. One was supposed to have been produced this past June in Chicago at the Witten Theatre, but it was cancelled, of course. So that's now going to be happening hopefully in this June. And then in the meantime, I've written a full opera, and it's a COVID opera, and it's basically like a Zoom call. So pretty much like we're watching now, and there's 6 people in the cast, and it's going to be 6 people like they're doing a Zoom call, but characters are all around the world. And I'll tell you more about that later, because I've got to basically have a little toast to you, Jim, because I know that you toast to people.
Yes, we toast to our guests and our viewers, our lovities.
To say hi to all the lovities, and thank you so much for making me feel welcome. And
cheers and sláinte.
What are you drinking, by the way?
You'll laugh, but this is Trader Joe's lemonade. It's
nice.
It looks fancy schmancy, doesn't it?
Is it alcoholic or not?
No, this is just regular. How about yours?
Well, the short answer is this is a gin and tonic.
Mm-hmm.
The long answer is that this is honey-infused gin, elderflower tonic, lime juice, and some saffron crystals that we picked up in Istanbul 3 years ago, which
nice.
you put it in, it turns the drink yellow, and it adds a really nice kind of tang to the flavor. So it's my own kind of recipe. In English, I have to drink gin,
Yes, absolutely. But you also found, you said, in doing DNA, we were talking about our nationalities. I'm English, Irish, Swedish, and French, and you found some Irish in you, and that's accounting for your love of some Guinness every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in fact, I live in New York, and if I turned the camera this way, you could see the trains going right by my window right now. The 7 train goes into Manhattan. So if you walk 1 block, you can be in Manhattan in about 10 minutes from my apartment. But directly beneath me is an Irish pub called McGuinness's, who has the best pint of Guinness anywhere in New York. And that's one of the reasons I'm never going to leave this apartment, because anybody who knows me knows that I can't live without my Guinness. And then I found out I was 0.5% Irish, but it's enough to justify my addiction. It's not an addiction. Guinness.
No, I like that. Yeah. So how have you been keeping busy? We're talking about that. We've got these operas coming up, and congratulations, kudos to you on that. How have you been keeping busy through all of the unusualness? I won't say unprecedented, because I think that word has been used more than once, but the unusualness of the last 10, 11 or so months, when we've had to adjust our lives and pivot in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. How have you done that and stayed creative and connected with your own energy and your own positivity and with others?
Well, it's a great question. I think, thankfully, I had parents who instilled in me a lot of discipline and hard work. I used to work at my dad's furniture store, and I used to deliver furniture and build furniture and do all of these things. And basically, that's what paid for my piano and violin lessons. So I had all of this work discipline. And when I started doing music, violin and piano wasn't enough. So I started reading scores. I would read scores instead of reading books, and I would try and write music when I was very young, and I would arrange music. So all of these things are things that I've been doing from a very young age and kind of honed my craft. So as a musician, I consider myself lucky because I have more than one thing to offer. I think, I don't just have the violin or the piano, or, I have the composing, the arranging, the teaching, and all of these things. So when COVID hit, I was literally doing, it was a weird project. And it wasn't something that I was expecting to do, but I got a call from a guy in Astoria who has a recording studio, and he said, I need you to do an album for this singer from a rock group called Archangel, or I think it's called Arch Enemy, and he said she sounds like Cookie Monster when she sings, and this singer literally sounds like Cookie Monster. I mean, she kind of has this deep demonic.
Yeah, very familiar with Cookie Monster.
Yeah, so she had a really beautiful voice. So she commissioned me to arrange all the music for this album where she actually wanted to sing in her own voice. And it was the first day of recording, and then halfway through the day, the studio got shut down, everything got shut down. But having been composing and writing prior to that session, I was already in writing mode. So when everything abruptly stopped, we didn't know everything was going to stop right away. I mean, we had a concert the next week in Wisconsin that canceled until the day before. We've lost upwards of 75 concerts in total with all the tours and everything else. So it was a shock to the system. And once we kind of, it was like the 5 stages of Grease, Dabda, So once we got to the final stage of, okay, we're going to lose all of this work, which was a fairly quick process for me. It took a couple of weeks to get over the knowledge that we weren't going to go on the road. We weren't going to be traveling, 50,000 miles or 100,000 miles this year. I said, I've got to do something. So I started writing piano pieces. I started finishing off, editing my opera, which was supposed to open in June, which I knew I had more time to work on. And then I started writing a children's book because I wanted to write a children's book on piano playing, which also incorporated languages, which I love, and puzzles, because I think young kids especially get bored when they just have to do scales and arpeggios. So I threw in crosswords and everything else. So I did this whole book, and every piece of music in the book was written after a garden animal. So there was volume 2, which is African animals. So, the kids got to learn about nature and animals and conservation as well. So it's kind of an all-inclusive book. And that took me, 6 weeks to write that. And then I started just writing. And then at some point, I started seeing online how many people were just getting bored and frustrated and creating concerts and wanting arrangements and needing piano tracks and wanting to do online concerts and this kind of stuff. So I consider myself extremely fortunate that since April, really, I haven't stopped working. In fact, in some respects, I've been busier than I would have been because I wouldn't have had any of this work because my only work would have been touring, which is what I do normally. So, and I maintained a church job, which I do in Scarsdale, which never stopped. And we did that virtually for the first 8 months. And now we're back there in person. So, I think anybody out there, any musicians who's wanting to do music, I think versatility and usefulness is a very important attribute. And if you can do more than one thing, it just opens up more prospects of you working. Because I know so many of my friends have stopped working and had to leave.
Yeah.
And no fault of their own, and I feel terrible for them. But I just really tried to sort of dig in and work as much as I can, and so far it's paid off. So, if I can get through this period, and hopefully this will be the toughest period of my lifetime, but who knows what's around the corner.
Erin Shields says he hasn't quite finished the children's piano book just yet. Soon, hopefully.
Erin Shields is my wife, by the way, so she's going to be coming on soon. Yeah, the children's book is almost finished.
She's in the other room watching, right?
Right. Yeah.
She's right across from you. She's like, look at the camera, smile. Right. She's the associate director. That is funny. Well, Tesla Bella says, congratulations, David, on the children's book. How beautiful. Where could we buy it? So they're ready for it.
Well, thank you. It's not been published yet. I was going to send out PDF copies because it's, people can then send it out. I want to get a publisher and maybe do a GoFundMe or something and print off 500 copies and then sell it. But the emphasis is on learning, because one of the things that me and my wife do and that we're proudest of is that we teach. We've taught kids of all ages, all the way from 3 up to 83. And, and continuing the tradition of classical music. I mean, I love all music, but, I feel like opera and classical music are not as popular as they used to be. So I want to continue that tradition and at least try and inspire as many people as I can through the teaching. That's what this book is supposed to do.
Which is beautiful. Absolutely. Merlin, watching in Ontario, asks, what is your favorite genre to write or play?
Wow, that's a great question. Thanks, Marilyn. Well, okay, so my wife says I'm a music snob, which kind of is true. the truth is I love all music, okay? But I think the greatest music is classical, just because the integrity of the music and the structure and the work that goes into it. You have people like Justin Bieber and Kanye West saying that they're self-acclaimed geniuses because they write a song, but if you compare writing a song to a Mozart symphony and the amount of blood, sweat, and tears and genius that goes into a Mozart symphony or a Tchaikovsky symphony, or look how many notes there are in a Rachmaninoff piano concerto. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think that's the greatest form of music. And opera, of course, is where all of that comes together. You've got the orchestra, you've got the scenery, you've got the actors, and you've got these amazing voices. So, Mozart, Puccini, Wagner, I think that all together, it's kind of like, if you get a Chippendale piece of furniture, it's the greatest piece of furniture you can get, versus, an IKEA chair, which might be, a lot of pop music these days. I don't know. That's just the way a music teacher described it to me once, and that's not my sentiment, but that was basically how he kind of, put pop music up against classical music.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, I love to play all styles of music, and I think, again, I think of all of the different genres of music as being like different languages. And I learned French and German growing up, and so I equate pop music to being, for example, Italian, and classical music to being German, and Italian or French is jazz, for example. So, it's the same stuff. It's all music, but the languages are different, and
Right.
you might not understand every word, but you kind of get a sense of what's going on. So when you play on stage for somebody, whether it's classical, like, for example, like I did a recital with Rod Gilfrey, who's a very well-known operatic baritone based in Los Angeles, who he's done an opera with a bunch of operas with Renée Fleming and André Previn and people like that. And he's a wonderful, wonderful singer. And I needed to have some serious classical chops for that. But then last year, I did another recital with Janice Siegel from the Manhattan Transfer, which was a completely different thing. And I knew I couldn't go in there sounding like a classical pianist trying to play jazz. And then I played some pop stuff. I played with Vanessa Williams, and we did some pop stuff. So I had to not sound too jazzy, and I couldn't sound classical. So the way I think of it is like speaking English or French or German, but I have to adapt with my technique, and I have to adapt with the way I'm listening and accompanying, and the chords. I can't play classical music is more complex as music, I think, but the chords are more basic. Whereas in jazz, you have all of these complex extensions. You can have 13ths and sharp 11ths and flat ninths and everything all together.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen in classical music up till the end of the 1900s, really. And then you had composers playing around like Ravel, who start playing with jazz and that kind of thing. But I think they're completely distinct languages, and I think one of the reasons, going back to how I've been working all this time, is just being able to really work hard and listen to lots of music, and be able to play it in a form which is true. One of the first concerts I ever went to was Queen. I went to see Queen live at Manchester's Main Road Stadium. Yeah. My mum wrote me a sick note, and I got to see Freddie Mercury in his prime with his crown and his cloak, and it was incredible. It was a really, really amazing concert. But when I discovered classical music a year after that, that's when I kind of knuckled down, and the next 10 years of my life was just a lot of hard work.
How did you first get started? I mean, tell me about the early inspirations for you growing up in England, right? You mentioned South Yorkshire. We have family, the Masters family on my father's side, the English side, English side. They hail from beautiful Yorkshire. It's a beautiful area. Tell us about growing up in that area and how maybe that even influenced your interest in music, specifically in performance.
Well, actually, so I have to confess, the reason I started playing the violin is that I was literally plucked out of the classroom because they had peripatetic music teachers, and every class had to have 3 students learn an instrument. So I was taken out of the class, and the violin teacher came in and he played 3 scales, and he played on the violin, he played, and then he played, and then he played. And so there were 3 there, and they're all valid scales. They're all used in compositions, but I had to guess which was the right one and which two were wrong. So I basically just reading what Jack says. Composer's voice as well. Yes, I completely agree. Thanks, Jack. So I guessed the scale which sounded the most diatonic, which sounded more normal to me. And that happened 3 times in a row. I got 3 out of 3. And so this teacher went to the back room, got out an old violin, handed it to me and said, okay, you're going to play the violin. So I took it home that day and I said to my mom and dad, I'm going to play the violin. And they said, no, you don't. They said, we used to have cats growing up and we don't want a screeching cat in the house. But they knew that I wanted to try it. And I was 7. And then I started playing it, quite efficiently by the time I was about 8 or 9. I did my first public performance when I was 8. I played a Schubert serenade, I think. And that was it. I got hooked on music, but I listened to pop music all the time. Like I said, I went to see Queen when I was 10, and then I went to high school, and my music teacher, Mr. Malpass, sat down at the piano, and he played me the first few measures of the Revolutionary Study by Chopin, which I don't know if anybody. I'll play a bit of it. I haven't played this for a long time. Like I said, haven't played that for a long time. But I was so amazed by this piece of music, and I said, good gracious, what was that? And he said, it's Chopin. I went home, and my mom and dad actually had an album of the Chopin studies played by Vladimir Ashkenazy, and that's all I listened to, and I just started devouring classical music after that. We lived outside of a city called Sheffield, and there was a lot of music in Sheffield, so my dad took me to the symphony probably once a month, and I saw Stéphane Grappelli play there once, the great French jazz violinist, and that was basically it. And I joined the local youth orchestras, and eventually ended up leading one of them, and I did a concerto with one of the orchestras once, and then I had a wonderful teacher. I had wonderful teachers all the way through, actually, but the one that really helped me, really kind of broadened my love of music and helped me get into the Royal College of Music when I was 18. But prior to that, I entered every competition I could do, and I won several. And I won the Rotherham Young Musician of the Year, and then I won the Sheffield Young Musician of the Year, and I won the, a couple of concerto competitions and recital competitions, and it was pretty much determined that I was going to be a violinist. So then I went off to the Royal College of Music, and in my first year, I had a really bad accident when I was cooking, and I was opening one of those tins of corned beef with the, and I opened the tin, and it went all the way around, and then I lifted the lid off, and the metal unwound, and it took basically the tip of my finger with it. So, and it went all the way through, and that was basically, wasn't the end of my violin career, but it was definitely something that stopped me playing for a period of time. But luckily I played the piano, and that's when that kicked in. See, I couldn't play the violin for very long because my doctor told me that once this had been stitched up, that I could not ever put my hand above my heart for more than a few seconds. When you play the violin, your hand is above your heart, and then the blood just drops, and there's no circulation. Right. So, but piano, I could do that. So, but I had parents who were incredibly supportive, and they loved classical music as well. So I consider myself lucky.
And performers as well in their own right?
I'm sorry? Were
they just folks who love the music, or are they also performers as well?
Yeah, no, nobody in my family has ever been a musician, ever. We've done research, and I think the closest is that my mum's cousin got a job as a church organist and could kind of play the piano, and my dad's grandmother, or no, great grandmother or something, was used to sing in music halls, but I think it was an amateur thing. So I don't know where the music comes from. I just, how kids have brains like sponges, and if you teach them a language at a young age, they can absorb it. I feel like the younger you are, if you really like something and something clicks, like the Williams sisters in tennis, or Tiger Woods in golf. You know, if you're young enough, or Heifetz on the violin, starting at the age of 3. If you start, it becomes part of who you are. And but having said all that, I consider myself to be a student still, and I don't think there are, you know, I'm a teacher as well, but I feel like there are only students. And Shostakovich said the same thing. He used to say there are no teachers, only students, because you're always learning something from somebody else. And I think it's a good attitude to have. So I don't think you should ever think that you're the best at something. Otherwise, you may as well give up.
What would you consider one of your first big breaks where the doors really opened and the opportunities started coming your way, David, early on in your career?
That's wow. Well, when I went to the Royal College of Music, and in my first year there, I befriended a guy. Well, lots of people, but there was a guy at the Royal College of Music with me called John Wilson, who now is very well known. He has his own orchestra, and he's an incredible musician, probably the best musician I think I've ever met. And he was very influential to me and many others, and he created this orchestra while at college, which is now a 90-piece symphony orchestra, and they have the best musicians in the world. So through John, I kind of learned how to orchestrate by working as his copyist. Now, this is a guy who, by the way, reconstructed the scores to Wizard of Oz and The Bandwagon, and all of those scores that got destroyed in Hollywood because they wanted to make room for a parking lot. And they destroyed all of those incredible arrangements and compositions. So John spent 10 years of his life reconstructing these orchestrations, which is mind-boggling. Because if you listen to Singing in the Rain, for example, the dance sequence, it's like, you know, there's transcription and there's taking things down, but then there's taking down something that's completely ridiculously complex. It's just it's baffling. But I learned a lot through him, and he kind of introduced me to people, and that opened some doors. And then when I was working in a restaurant in London where I was hired by John because he was the musical director, I met a guy who came up to me and said, "Do you write music?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, let's write a song right here, right now." And I said, "Okay." So we did, and that ended up being the first song to a musical, which then opened in New York a couple of years later. And that was my first time to New York. And I fell in love with New York hard. I mean, I really, really, really did. So the second I, you know, set foot in Manhattan, I just knew that that was where I wanted to be. I was just so in love with it. And I just loved the energy. And I loved the fact that it was 24 hours. And, you know, London's a great town. It really is. But even at 11 o'clock at night, it's like a ghost town. And I lived on Baker Street. I lived in central London. And it was just dead. And you come to New York and it's like you can go to the supermarket or to the bar at 3 a.m. and it's just, I needed that energy in my life. And so when I moved to New York, that was the biggest change in life. And then I was playing in a piano bar in New York, and it was a grueling shift. I used to play this bar called Helen's in Chelsea, and it was 6 to 10, and then the midnight shift was 10 till 4. Sometimes I got both shifts. So I would play from 6 till 4, which is 10 hours of playing, which is a lot. And then I used to play and get really bored. But when I was working in London, I was working at this restaurant called Le Caprice. And Le Caprice is known for the celebrities hanging out there. And one day I was playing at Le Caprice and I was playing the piano, and this guy came up to me and he said, "Come here, I want to buy you a glass of wine." And so he bought me a glass of wine and he said, "Let me tell you something, son." He said, "You look bored as hell playing the piano." And I said, "Well, to be honest, I am." And he said, "Look, as long as you're entertaining yourself, you're entertaining everybody else. So go out there and have a good time and play some good music." And I said, "Thank you so much. What's your name?" And he said, "Jerry Lieber of Lieber and Stoller, who wrote all the great songs for Elvis Presley." So I always remembered that. So when I was playing at Helen's one night at 3 a.m., literally, somebody walked into the bar at Helen's and nobody else was there. It was just me playing the piano. But this one person who walked into the bar booked me to do a cabaret with him. And that turned into playing for all the cabaret, well, not all of them, but many, many cabaret singers in New York. And that basically opened the door to being a musical director for Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS, where I played for the casts of the producers and Color Purple and the Jersey Boys. So I got to work a lot after that with Christine Hoff, who was, won the Tony for Jersey Boys. John Menken, who was the original French chef in Little Mermaid and who played Max in the producers. And I even recorded an album with John and wrote a musical with him, which opened, called Santa Claus and the Magical Moon Dragon. So everything that happened in my life, it seems to be just a kind of, serendipitous and just being in the right place, but just always making sure that whatever I was doing was of high standard, I think.
Yeah. Which is very, very important. And you've really mastered that throughout your entire career, my friend. We have some fabulous photos here that we do want to share with our audience. We also have some great music, and we know we have clips here, but we know we have music we want to get in live before 9 o'clock because you've got neighbors upstairs, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You got to get it in, even though it's a Friday. It's still 9 Eastern. Look what we dug up, my friend.
Yeah. Yay! So that's me in my Batman T-shirt and a red scarf. I don't know why I'm wearing a red scarf. That's my sister Sarah on the piano. I guess I was about 10 there, maybe 11, 10 or 11. So I've been playing for a couple of years. That violin, I wish I still had it, but I had to sell it. London was stupid because I needed the money. I ended up getting £25 for that violin.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah, it was worth more, but I needed the money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a shame when things like that have to happen. But I mean, it didn't have a name on it. It was just a cheap old mahogany violin. You should never make violins out of mahogany, by the way.
Yeah, that was the first instrument I learned in school, was the violin. That was one of the choices. Here's another shot. Look at this.
Gosh. So that's me with the trophy for the either the Rotherham or the Sheffield Young Musician of the Year. I think I was 15 there, and I think I won 4 competitions that year. And that violin actually is the one that's on the right here, right now. That's my violin. He's from Scotland. He's called Briggsy, and he was born in 1926. Yeah, so he's going to be 100 soon.
Wow. Yeah. And I like the way you described that too. He was born and he's going to be. You humanize the instrument. We have some more cool photos we dug up in our research here, David.
Oh God. So I have to say, I don't know who the lady is, but I think she was a viola player at the college. So that's in the entrance at the Royal College of Music, and that's Henry Purcell behind, I think. Every year we had I think you call it prom, right? In America.
Sure.
We call it a ball. Like in My Fair Lady. And I thought I was being cool by having a white tux, but look at that thing. It could, good gracious. That thing's about 10 sizes too big for me there. And this is the very original John Wilson Orchestra. So John is the guy with his hands crossed, front row next to the cellist. If you Google John Wilson, you'll be amazed. He's very talented and his orchestra is amazing. I think Seth MacFarlane flew everybody out for his 40th birthday. A whole 90-piece orchestra out to play for his birthday. And Seth has actually sung with that orchestra several times. But that's me right above John.
When was this taken, David?
That was probably 1996, I'm going to say. So I would have been 21.
21, wow. Look at that. Yeah, it's a great shot of everybody. Really, really captures something really, really special there, as does this one.
Oh, so that's my old friend Howard Blake. So Howard, he wrote a show called The Snowman, which, I mean, he's a wonderful composer, and he wrote 75 movies for Hollywood films, scores. And he wrote tons of classical music, but he's most known for this piece. which is it's a beautiful tune. It's been recorded.
Walking in the Air. Yeah,
yeah.
I've always loved that.
And,
did you ever see the animated special that they did? Was called the Snowman. Did you ever see that?
That's the second one. Yeah.
That's
incredible. It was a 25 book.
Yes, I saw it years ago. It was the local public television station that actually aired it during holiday time years ago, and it was just fantastic. And believe it or not, we watched it again just this past Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, and absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant job, and of course, that song is featured in it as well. And we had, as you know, we had Phil Coulter on too.
Yeah,
brilliant. And you've worked with Phil, and Phil was fabulous when he was on the show live from Ireland. He played a little bit of that as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and the Old Man too, which Phil's the Old Man. That's a tearjerker. So for anybody who listens to that one,
I don't think in London they turn it into a stage show, so it's a 2-act ballet basically. Yeah, because there's no words in it except for the song pre-recorded. And so I was fortunate. Howard delegated responsibility for me to arrange all the music for the West End production. So if you go and see that show, I think my name's been on the playbill since 1997.
Since 1997, wow.
Yeah, it's an incredible show. And in the animated show, they fly to the North Pole at the end of Act 1.
Yes.
In this show, they actually, at one point, the snowman gets out of the fridge, which is laying on the floor, and he's just been, they put a hook on his back, and they literally fly off. They do the wire thing, the flying by foy thing. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful moment. It's a beautiful piece of theater, actually. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful story overall. Here's another shot we have. Tell us about this one.
Oh, okay. So this is Empire Trio. So Empire Trio is the trio that I tour with, or used to tour with before COVID. And that's my wife in the middle. That's me on the left. And the third member of this trio rotates, but right now it's between 2 or 3 guys. It's, depending on who's available, really. But Adam is the guy on the right there, Adam Kennedy, a wonderful baritone. Mm-hmm. And we've been touring with this group for about, 10 years or so. It used to have a different name. It used to be called O Sole Trio. Mm-hmm. We founded it in 2009 or 10, maybe. But, we, for various reasons, we changed the name. It kind of pigeonholed us as well, because O Sole Trio is a play on O Sole Mio.
Yes.
We were commissioned to write a show for Lincoln Center in New York about the history of Italian music. So we never thought it was going to go anywhere. And, I'm just looking at the comments. Sorry, the guy who took photos just said hi, Mark Wade. He's also my bass player in my big band.
there he is. Yeah, nice photo. Yeah.
But we've been touring with that trio now, and so we thought Empire Trio was a more accessible name. And now we do a Broadway show, we do a Hollywood show, a Valentine's Day show, a Christmas show, and one other one I'm not thinking of. The Italian show we still do. So that's basically us on stage, and that's what we look like. We've done history as well, but it's fun.
Very nice.
We usually do about 40 to 60 concerts a year with that group, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hopefully you're hoping that maybe later in the year some of that will come back.
I think so, yeah.
Everybody holding their breath to see how everything goes. Fingers crossed with everything. Here's another great shot.
Yeah, there's a shot from our show. So we have multimedia, so that's the big finale. So they do the Titanic. They do, what's it called? My Heart Will Go On. And that's when I play with Erin. My wife plays the piano in this one. So that's when I play the John Williams Schindler's List theme.
Which is very riveting. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's such a gorgeous. And there's another shot of Empire Trio. And there's Michael. He's one of the other guys that he's on the right. Looks like a GQ model. So, that's how we make our bread and butter. And this one is Uptown Girls. So Uptown Girls is a group that we decided that there weren't enough girl groups out there, because we do all these music conferences where we get bookings, and we're always looking around, and there's not that many female groups. There are about 110,000 tenor groups. There are, the 3 tenors, the 10 tenors, the Texas tenors, the redneck tenors. There are so many different tenor shows, but there's really not that many girl shows. So my wife and I, who's on the picture on the left there, with the, looking up and pointing a finger, is also in Uptown Girls, but we will be looking for a third person because she'd rather be on the production side of the show. And this is from our 70s show, which we tour with as well. And we have a modern day show and a 70s show. So that's another group that we tour with.
Very cool, very cool.
We probably do 20 to 25 shows with them. So Erin and I, we run an agency, as well as everything else we do. So it's called Showstopper Entertainment. And we just have a couple of other acts that we represent. And these people are just really good friends of ours. So this is Darren Cardosa, AKA the Bitchy Waiter, who actually, I think he would be a great guest for your show at some point, Jim. He's got over 1 million fans on Facebook. And every time he does a show, it sells out because people just can't wait to see him. And he has a blog about, bitching about being a waiter. He's just talking about the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations, and do servers really spit in your food, that kind of thing. Yeah. And he got a book deal, and it was an Amazon bestseller, and he's got a show which is so funny. I think it'd
be great to have him on. Yeah.
Joan Rivers said it was the funniest thing she'd ever seen.
Wow.
And it's a wonderful show. And so we do a few shows with him every year. And like I said, he's a master at social media. Mm-hmm. And I think he gets 100,000 hits a day on his website as well. He writes about a dozen blogs a week, and they're all really, really funny. So
we'll have to have him on. Yeah, it sounds like we'd have a great time with him. Spread the word. Let him know. Absolutely. Sure. Here's another cool shot.
And then this is the final act of our little roster. This is Molly's Comedy Cabaret. She's an incredible performer from British Columbia in Canada, and she does this show which is so funny. So you saw Erin and Adam do the Titanic song. Well, she does the Titanic song, but she has this homemade boat, and she's got this little picture of Leonardo DiCaprio on the front of it. And she it's a comedy show. It's a physical comedy show, and with incredible vocals. And it's almost like a modern day vaudeville show, but she has literally 20 different shows. So we try and sell her as well. And she just joined our roster recently, so we're just trying to get her bookings. But again, everything just shut down at the time when we thought that we'd all be out working. But so if we weren't busy enough, Erin and I, instead of arranging our own concerts, we decided to arrange other people's concerts too. But they're really good friends, so it's fun.
Absolutely. We have some more we dug up.
Oh, so this is the opera I was talking about with Christine Steyer, who is a wonderful opera singer. I met her at the American Traditions Competition, which is a competition in Savannah, Georgia, which I play for every year. And there are 36, well, I think there are 32 singers now. And basically they get selected, they go down to Savannah, there's 3 rounds. And the first prize wins $12,000 and a gig with the Savannah Symphony Orchestra. And there's about $40,000 worth of prizes, and it's a wonderful vocal competition. And Christine was in the final one year, and after the competition, we got together because she wanted to sing some of my songs, and that led to her commissioning me to write all of these operas. So there's a series of operas that I'm writing called the Tales of Transcendence. Originally called the Transcendence Triptych. It was 3 operas, but now it's called the Tales of Transcendence because there's probably going to be more. And what we're trying to do is make opera accessible to people these days, because opera's I wouldn't say it's a dying art form, but it's certainly very expensive to go and see, and it's considered elitist. Yeah. And it's in language. So what we're doing is writing operas which are shorter, which are relevant to today's people's lives by using real people, using topics which are relevant today, like gun violence in Chicago, racism in America, racism all around the world, and just trying to use the medium of opera to kind of reach people. And and then COVID happened, so instead of writing one of the operas, we put that on hold and wrote this COVID opera, which I mentioned earlier, which is 6-person opera, which can be produced completely isolated. You don't have to meet anybody, you don't have to rehearse. All the rehearsals can be done online. I would send the piano tracks, the singer would sing their vocal part. I'd put the audio together, a videographer, Mark Wade, who's online now, would put the videos together, and then you put it online and you'd sell tickets. So, oh, thank you, Christine. So it's a beautiful opera. That's going to open on April 17th and 18th in Chicago with Bellissima Opera Company. And then the University of Western Michigan has signed on to do it on May 1st and May 2nd, also online. And then at the National Opera Conference last week, there were at least 15 other companies who requested the score. So we're hoping that the opera will get done frequently, just because opera companies are looking to do things, but they can't get together for the rehearsals. They can't, do big chorus numbers, this kind of thing. But this opera was designed exclusively to be also gender neutral. So it can be 6 ladies, it can be 6 guys, it can be combinations. The parts have been written, so you can have basically any combination. And the characters who sing in the operas is yourself or somebody who you decide. In this case, we're asking people if they'll think of somebody they love and think of a healthcare worker that they appreciate and come up with a hybrid character because the 6 characters in the opera are all healthcare workers. And we wanted this opera to be not only something which is kind of a timestamp of what went on, but also we want to eventually start getting it out there to raise awareness and funds and say thank you to all the healthcare workers who really are the heroes of this whole pandemic, and the law enforcement as well. But because I can't even imagine
workers, what they're seeing, and like you say, law enforcement and people working in the grocery stores, and so many people that are keeping those wheels turning. And we've been saying here on the show often with some of the guests that I'm hoping that we sort of everybody keeps saying, oh, they want things to go back to normal. I'm hoping that we actually go to something even better. I'm hoping that we are more empathetic and more compassionate. We actually listen to each other. I think everybody was doing a lot of speaking at as opposed to listening to, and being creative and collaborating. And I think I said last night to one of our guests who was on, we had this brilliant naturalist writer on live from Washington, D.C. We were talking about life and nature and a lot of different things. And we were talking about, everything we've been going through the last several months, individually and collectively in the world. And I think I had said something along the lines of, I'm really hoping that this pivot that we've all experienced will result in more empathy and more kindness. I think it was a scenario where the divine Mother Nature and planet Earth came together and said, enough, we're done, stop. You guys are, everybody's yelling at each other, and there's all this unrest and violence, and just things are, and the Earth is not being treated well, and all these things. So the divine Mother Nature and planet Earth got together and said, you know what, we're going to throw a few things your way. We're going to throw a pandemic. We're going to do some economic losses. We're going to do societal unrest. We'll throw in some political for laughs as well. We'll throw it all in, and we'll do it all at the same time at the start of a new decade. And let's see how you guys handle this. Are you going to be better for it? Are you going to be kinder, more gentler? Are you going to work together? Or are you going to be worse? And we've seen the worst of the worst, of course. The worst of the worst has been exhibited right before our eyes. But also we've seen some of the best and beautiful things, like you said, the healthcare workers and so many others. And out of that, I think a lot of people have also been creative. They've been doing things that they've always wanted to do if they've had the opportunity. Maybe finishing that book, or taking up that hobby, or just doing different things to really express the essence of who they are genuinely. And have you found that you've been doing that as well during this time of pivoting and sort of flexing to whatever's going on from day to day? Have you discovered different things about yourself and your work and what you want to do going forward as a result of things that you've experienced, heard, and witnessed the last many months?
Yeah, I think, and for me, like so many other people I've talked to, I think it's not really about music even. I just realized that I want to spend more time with my friends and my family. And, you know, those times where somebody calls up and says, "Hey, do you want to meet for a beer?" And you're just like, "Oh, I'm too tired." But I think I'm going to jump on those moments now because life's too short, and we've basically all missed a year in our lives. So the thing that I'm going to be most grateful for is human interaction, and just realizing how important those things are. A couple of nights ago, Erin and I sat down here. We played Code Names, which is this great game online, and it's an interactive game where we all just grab our phones and it's fun. And we just had such a, and then hours have gone by, and then you realize how sad it is because you're not there physically in person. And of course, I want to see my family. It'll be probably 2 years since I see my family in May. I was back in England in May 2019. So by the time I finally get back there, I want to see my family for 2 years. So that's the first thing I make. And then in terms of music, I've just knuckled down, like I said, really spent a lot of time writing music, but then going back and analyzing the music and asking myself, is this the best I can do? So time for reflection, time to do things you want to do. That's the silver lining of COVID. But above all, human friendships, interaction, and just seeing people, because we're social creatures, and I just I miss that so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even though you can be in a big city like you are in New York, one can feel lonely when there aren't a lot of people around and things are closed and there aren't the opportunities to gather. And we're hoping that, like June says, so important to stay in touch. Tesla Bella, she's been a guest several times on our shows, dear friend, a wonderful actress, comedian, and voice artist. Jim, it's so true, everything you're saying. Thank you. I appreciate that. Erin, of course, the COVID opera's music and synopsis are heartbreakingly beautiful. Muriel Rose says, interesting conversation with in-depth information. If you like that, Muriel, that's what we do every day on the Jim Master Show Live. We're bringing back the lost art of conversation, sort of, those sensibilities of the old school talk shows of David Susskind, Dick Cavett, Carson, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, where we take time to really, break bread and chat, and we're not in a rush, and learn about each other, and the viewers come in and they're interactive with our international audience and really celebrate life and all of the things that we all do and we cherish, with entertainment and levity sprinkled in as well. And some of the modern sensibilities and cool vibe of today. So it's like blending the old school talk shows with the modern vibe of today is what we're doing here. And so glad that you watch as often as you do, David. The opera sounds brilliant, according to June. I agree, absolutely. And Christine says she was so lucky that you played for her. So she's still pinching herself. I agree. You need someone to hold on to. And as Erickson, music is helping our son's mental health during this lockdown. That's beautiful, too. And music is very comforting, very healing. I've been saying often on the show that we need, and you've probably heard me say this, that we need to find things when the world seems like it's spinning out of control. We need to find and surround ourselves with those things that, and music is one of them, that are the constants of life. Me being along the ocean here and, having access to the water, an ocean is a go-to place for me, a Zen place. So while everything is spinning out of control, having the opportunity to remind ourselves of some of those beautiful constants, those simple things in life that still exist, even though the world is spinning out of control. We just went through the beautiful holiday season. No matter what goes on all year long, here come the holidays again, and the opportunity to love and show kindness and celebrate the holidays, whether it's going in nature, listening to music, or going to the ocean, whatever it may be. This is now more than ever a time to remind yourself of those beautiful, simple things in life and surround yourself when things get a little rough and out of sorts. Surround yourself with some of those constants. That could be the people in your life, the loved ones, music, old TV shows and nostalgic movies, going to the ocean or nature. Right, David? Surround yourself with constants, because the sun will go up and go down. It'll rise and it'll set. The tide of the ocean will always come in and out. And it's been doing that for a long time, and it'll do it a long time after we're all gone. So the constant flow and rhythm of life is important to surround yourself with when things seem a little out of sorts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I get all my inspiration from the ocean as well. And I love the sea. It's the best thing, especially with the crashing waves.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Someday I'd love to go to northern Scotland or Ireland. I've never been to Ireland. I've been to Dublin Airport many times. I've been outside the airport. I'd love to go to Ireland and just sit on the cliff top somewhere and just look at the ocean waves. That to me is as good as life gets. Just
the ocean is, the ocean.
Inspirational and so just magical and so mysterious. And most of the earth is under sea. Land only forms a certain percentage, 20% of the
that's right,
is land, and 80% is the ocean. And then everything that's beneath that, it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So that's why Irving Berlin wrote, "How deep is the ocean?"
Exactly. And you have to drag me out of it. I'm always swimming, surfing, kiteboarding, sailing, walking it, floating in it, and grew up near it. So it's the go-to place for me, definitely. I know we have that 9 o'clock curfew as far as music. Did you want to start to play a few things? Because we have more photos and we have other video clips that we can play, as we go along later. But with the time constraint, with the neighbors and all, we want to definitely.
It's Friday. If we go over a little bit, it's fine.
I'm sure they'll enjoy it upstairs.
Well, the kid downstairs plays electric guitar, so I don't think it's going to bother him too much.
You haven't jammed together, you two, huh?
No. Not unless you consider the beat of his broom hitting the floor. As you can see, I have a big piano here. It's a 7'4" piano, so it makes a lot of noise. I'm not sure if you can see it. Hang on.
Yeah, we'll take a wide shot.
I didn't put the there it is. Cool. Anyway, so I'll tell you what. Why don't I play you a piano piece, something I wrote, and then I'll play you a violin piece, something I didn't write, and then we can chat more, and then I'll bring Erin in to sing a song.
Sounds good.
All right.
What would you like to start with?
Well, I wrote an album. So I live in Sunnyside, which is in Queens.
Very Irish area. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I live above an Irish pub. It's the best. Actually, Sunnyside, Queens is the most diverse neighborhood in the entire world. There were, I think, 104 recognized nationalities living here, according to the New York Times or something.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, so I love Sunnyside. So in 2006, I wrote an album of piano music called Sunnyside Blues, and it's all original, and it's basically classical jazz, or as my friend says, it's called jazzical, or class, I guess. Anyway, class. So the street names, you got Skillman Avenue, so I wrote the Song of Skillman, which actually transformed into one of the operas I wrote, the theme from that. And then I wrote the Rawson Street Rag and the Ballad of Bliss Street and the Song of Skillman and the Zip Code Blues, which is a blues based on the zip code, which is because the blues is 145, but Sunnyside is 11104. 2335 is my zip code. So if you do that all together, you can create a blues on the zip code. So the zip code blues. But the piece I'll play is called, it was originally called Elegy, but then I changed it to Feeling Blue on the Q32. And the Q32 is the bus that goes from downstairs outside the pub to Manhattan, and it's a mile, but it can take an hour of traffic in normal times. So feeling blue on the bus is definitely something that happens a lot. So I'll play that piece right now. It's about 4 minutes, I think.
Terrific.
And,
just want to say, Dorothy Lee says music is important to keep us centered. And one of the most wonderful things about David is he is sensitive to who he plays to and with. David is a sensitive, talented artist and a jewel to society. That is from Dorothy Lee watching. Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you, Dorothy. I'll send you your $50 in the mail. Thank you.
I was going to say that what a I would do an intro, but I don't want to top that. That was phenomenal. Take it away, David.
Thanks.
Bravo, bravo. Very, very beautiful. Wow. That is really stunning. And we have a lot of comments that are agreeing with that. Christopher Joseph in Ohio says that melody is hauntingly beautiful. And Anne, who's watching, one of our regular Lovity viewers watching in Southern California. I worked late and just signed on. What a beautiful way to start my weekend. David plays beautifully. Sandra Murdoch watching in Illinois. Another hello from Illinois. Sounds so beautiful. Kathy Short, one of our regular viewers watching in Cleveland, Ohio. You play beautifully. And as you see, our Lovity viewers from around the world are very, very passionate about everything, and I love that. And so we like to show and share their passion on the show. Mary Bishop, who is in Pine Island, Florida, says so beautiful. Loves it, David. Mary Ryan, who is watching in Connecticut. How beautiful. Thank you. All kinds of nice emojis, claps, and piano keys and hearts from Merlin in Ontario, Canada. And of course, our dear friend June, Rachelson Aspa, so moving. Of course, they're in New York as well. Did you want to play something else for us as well?
Sure. Why don't I play the violin this time?
That's right. Do you have a preference? I mean, what speaks to your heart first, the violin or the piano, or is it equal for you?
Oh gosh, I get asked that question a lot, and to be honest,
sure.
I don't. One. It's whatever I'm playing at the time. I mean, my first love was the violin, and I played that since the age of 7. The piano, I was just shy of my 13th birthday when I picked that up. So, I'd already garnered this deep love of the violin, but then the piano can do things that the violin can't. But then the same thing's true if you flip that. So, I don't know.
Have you toyed with other instruments too, besides piano and violin? Did you ever flute, guitar, anything else just to test it?
One thing I did during lockdown was I learned the flute. So, yeah. And actually, in my latest promo video with my wife, I play a piece on the flute for that. I don't even know where it is right now, but yeah, I love the flute. I love jazz flute. No, I think I play the church organ. I play piano and violin. I play viola, of course, which is a bigger version of the violin.
Merlin asks, do you play the violin as a fiddle as well?
I have done, actually, Marilyn. Yeah, I have. I've done a lot of that stuff. I played with an Irish band. I've appeared and produced on 4 Irish CDs by a local singer, and produced now by Gabe Donahue, who's I'm sure that a lot of the Irish people watching have heard of Gabe. He's got his own show as well. Wonderful musician, plays, I think, literally every instrument in the world. And so I've been working with him on these wonderful albums of Irish music. I wouldn't consider myself a very good Irish fiddler, though. But when I was playing with Chloe Agnew, Celtic Woman, the violinist was a guy called Pat Menken, who was formidable. He was just really great. So I would not want to be up against him in a fiddles competition, let's say that.
Muriel says, as usual, that was beautiful, David. Warm regards from Jamaica. And
Thank you. Nice to see you online, Muriel. Muriel is a
beautiful
congregant of the church where I work, and I haven't seen her for a while, but hope that you and your family are safe, Muriel. Thank you.
Yes, Muriel, thank you for watching on our YouTube channel, and hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Nice to have you with us. Welcome to the show there in beautiful Jamaica. Dorothy Lee says, David's insights on classical and jazz enlivens discussions. Would love to see him lead discussions on music genres and history styles, making it relevant and accessible to all of us. I love that. Christine Clifton in North Carolina says, beautifully played, David. So very talented. You put everything into your playing, and it shows. I love your ending of that song.
Christine, that's so nice of you.
That was very nice as well. A couple more coming in here live as we speak. Sharon Blackmar says, beautiful. Reminds me of the summer of 42 music.
Very cool.
A little bit, yeah.
I better check to plagiarize anything.
Exactly. There's always copyright. What would you like to play next for our fabulous viewers and for myself?
The violin. I was going to say as well, I don't know if there's anything that interests you or your viewers, but you have a video of me playing the violin and the piano at the same time somewhere, which is a party trick I do.
Yes, it's amazing.
I do that, and if you can show the video at some point, but if you want us to do a live version of that, what I do in every show, just so I don't get bored.
Yeah.
I have the audience pick a song, and then they have to tell me how to play it. So they say, okay, play White Christmas, and I say, okay, and then they say, play in the style of Mozart, Rachmaninoff, Billy Joel, and then the audience shouts out requests. So if you wanted to test that out after this, you're welcome to.
Think about that, folks. If there is a song that you want him to play, let us know. Type it in comments, and we'll get it in there.
Do you want to choose the song, Jim?
Let's see. I mean, the song. If it was just, I was going to say it would be a holiday song if it was the holidays. What could we have? There's so many songs. Something. The Way We Were.
Song?
That way we could say 2020, The Way We Were.
Okay. So I'll do The Way We Were, and I'll do it in the style of Bartok in a minute. So
yeah, Mark says in the style of Bartok. I saw that.
He always says Bartok. Okay, so I recorded this earlier on the piano.
Christopher Joseph says Edelweiss, of course. Yeah.
Oh, sure, I can do Edelweiss. I'm gonna do. So this is just one of my favorite violin pieces. I love this piece. It's by Christoph Willibald Gluck, and it's from Orfeo and Eurydice. And it was transcribed and arranged for violin and piano by the great violinist Fritz Kreisler. So it's called Melody by Gluck. And I'm going to see if this works. Hang on a sec.
They're saying We Shall Overcome is another one. So many different ones.
I think I'm playing We Shall Overcome on Church in Sunday, actually. I am actually. No, seriously. That's my postlude on Sunday.
Well, with Martin Luther King Day on Monday, very apropos.
Yeah. Tell me if you can hear this piano part now.
Yep, we hear it.
Great. So this is, maybe I should do, yeah. So this is Melody by Gluck. Yeah, so here we go.
I can hear everybody clapping everywhere, wherever their zip code is, wherever they're residing. Wow.
My violin hit the piano at one point, so I went like that. Sorry about that.
That is gorgeous. Some of them are amazed, the violin piano combination happening at the same time, which is extraordinary. That is a very beautiful piece, and you really did lots of justice to it, David. Really, really beautiful. Just want to show you some of the comments as we bring in our lovely viewers here. Clapping for Linda Odell, who's watching in St. Augustine, Florida. Sue says, wow, beautifully beautiful and amazingly talented. Maureen says, that was exquisite. Mary Bishop says, wow. Brava from Christopher Joseph. So beautiful, so soothing. Berlin in Canada. Wow, how lovely is that? Sherry says, so beautiful. Mary Ryan says, so beautiful. And Sherrill, beautiful as always. Welcome, Sherrill, to the Jim Masters Show Live. We love having you here, watching on our YouTube channel. Graham says, nice one, Dave. Sounded good from one social creature to another.
That's
Graham.
That's from the Royal College of Music. Hey, Graham.
It's wonderful to have him here.
England is watching.
England, we love England. We have a lot of roots in England. Mary Hurwitz says, beautiful David, I am honored to have you as director and pianist these past 10 years on our 4th album. Can't wait to launch it. Mary Pierce Hurwitz.
And because of course I'm terrible at forgetting names, and I didn't forget your name, maybe I forgot. So the 4 albums I did, the Irish albums, Mary Pierce Hurwitz. So check them out on Spotify.
Violin and piano at the same time? That's it.
So the violin and piano at the same time works like this. I'll just, before I do the way we were in the style or whatever, I'll just show you how that works. So,
I just threw that out there. You could do anything. Yeah. Marcia Lyons says she's watching in Massachusetts. She's wonderful. Known her years. She used to come into public television, answer phones. I think she's just retired. Byron says, bravo and applause from Canada. Erin says, hauntingly beautiful. Eva says, so much enjoying the slow-paced nature of this show. A welcome change from the usual Zach ways of presenting. Great of Jim to allow his guests room for that. My pleasure, Eva. That's what we do here on the show. And she also adds, thank you, David, for graciously sharing your personal memories and experiences. Such great stories there. And I haven't even started on the moving music. So she's all happy tonight. We love to hear that. Yeah. So you're going to grace us with more beautiful music. We love it.
I think Erin should sing soon, but I'll just show those people how the violin piano thing works. So basically, let me think of a song. That was a really, really short version of what I
Epic.
did. There was no thought went into that, but it's normally I sort of do a longer arrangement and based on suggestions from the audience, that kind of thing. But it's just something fun, and I think people generally tend to respond to it well at concerts. It's fun.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That was epic. That was absolutely epic. And the combination of playing the two, I just want to show you more of the great comments. I mean, you are amazing, David. And I've said that. Carl says, thank you. Maureen watching also. Sometimes these comments go by so fast. It's extraordinary. Unbelievable. What a gift to Maureen. Mary says, truly amazing. Linda in Florida says, standing ovation. Christine says, wow. Carla, one of our regular viewers in Brazil and South America, says, wow, she's loving it. Eva's loving it as well. They're on the edge of their chairs here, wanting more and more. Merlin, Ontario, incredible, love it. And Bernadette says, amazing self-accompaniment. That's exactly what it is. Lots of smiles from June. Amazing from Linda. Sharon actually says, I would love to hear the music you would be playing in church. And
I have a Zoom link for that if anybody's interested.
Mary says, thank you. Kathy Short, hearts and claps. And Christopher Joseph in Ohio, amazing violin and piano together. Sharon says, so amazing. Jennifer Barry in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Wow, good magical. Thank you, and truly amazing. Really, really nice.
Thank you.
It's that's what we call double levity on the show, to be able to do both at the same time, my friend. You wanted to bring your lovely wife in to join us, Erin, as well.
Yay, she's coming.
She's been your associate producer on the other side of the camera this evening, right? Yeah. Hello, how are you? Welcome. So now you're getting a chance to be, you were the viewer and now you're a guest. How does it feel? You're getting double exposure on the show.
I mean, I have to say that the people who are commenting the levities are the nicest, most welcoming group of people I've ever kind of interacted with on a virtual site. So it's such an honor to be here. So thanks for having me, and definitely for having him. So
it's my pleasure. So, and that's kind of the mood and the tempo and the vibe that I wanted to create when we created this show 230 episodes ago, day after day after day, back in April. And I can't believe we've done 230 episodes 7 days a week, but is that warmth and that conversational feeling, so you can feel just the way you described, that we're all sharing in this experience. I, as the host and producer, wonderful, talented guests, our lovely viewers from around the world, we're all sort of enjoying the flavors and vibe from the show, this warmth, all at the same time. So I'm glad you picked up on that, and I'm glad you guys like to watch and see some of the other episodes as well. We have some good times here too, lots of laughs, but we get into some really good, it sort of flows however it flows. We don't script anything. We don't do prompter. It's all conversational in an old school way with, again, the modern vibe of today. But I think it's nice when it just flows like this, right? And we bring in the viewers and everybody feels like they are invested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because normally we do lots of outreaches, and there's always a timer. Whenever we do a concert, we try and tie in an outreach or a masterclass or something. But they always say, "Okay, you got 20 minutes left," and just having that clock going down, it just you want to get in as much information as you can. So the beautiful thing about your show is that it just takes away that whole paradigm. People can just relax, and it's no barriers. Just it's wonderful. Wonderful. So, would you like us to
enjoy it? What would you like to do for us?
Well, I was going to do a great Shirley Horn song called Here's to Life. I think it's appropriate. It's something that I've sung at many weddings. You could sing it at a funeral. I mean, it's just all about appreciating the beauty of life, and in its good times and bad times. So I think we can all say that COVID and this past year has been definitely challenging, but I think this song is just a nice, little segue, would you say?
I think it's so appropriate, and so, it's a perfect choice for everything that people are feeling right now, and the unease and not sure what tomorrow is going to bring, and everything that we've been through, and, loss, everything that we've witnessed. I think that's a very appropriate choice. Perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams, placing bets. But I have heard that all you give is all you get. So give it all you got. I've had my share, I drank my fill, and even though I'm satisfied, still to see what's down another road beyond the hill, and do it all again. So here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. Funny how the time just flies, how love can go from warm hellos to sad goodbyes, and leave you with the memories you've memorized to keep your winters warm. But there's no yes in yesterday, and who knows what tomorrow brings. Takes away. As long as I'm still in the game, I wanna play the life love. So here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to life, to dreamers and their dreams. May all your storms be weathered, and all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, and here's to you. May all your storms be weathered, and all that's good get better. Here's to life, here's to love, and here's to you.
Absolutely stunning. That is such a beautiful song, and you really knocked it out of the park. Really beautiful. And folks may be hearing the combination of the two of you for the first time. Some of our viewers, as well as those who love you already, are saying the following, gang. Look at this. Tess LaBella, may all this love come back to you. Claps and hearts from Das Erickson. June Rachel Sinosper, our dear mutual friend that we have. Gorgeous. Jennifer Barry, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Thank you so much. Thank you both so much. What a treat. And Dorothy Lee says, Erin, an exquisite and expressive singer. What a lovely, loving collaboration with David. I look forward to hearing you live again. Nothing like it. That's beautiful from Dorothy Lee. And Linda in St. Augustine, Florida says, absolutely beautiful voice and piano. Love it. Let's see. We've got more coming in. Ms. DeMortoni, hi from the Mortons. And Byron Bellows, so beautiful, inspirational, Erin and David. Merlin watching in Canada, beautiful. You two really compliment each other. Thank you. Tess LaBella in Florida, words cannot express the joy and thanks I feel. Thank you, and your beautiful voice. Thank you, Erin. Lots of hearts and tulips as well. Christopher Joseph in Ohio, great duo team. Your voice is so lovely, really nice. And Erin here says, you sang this at my wedding in 2009, and I burst into tears. So gorgeous, feeling emotional all over again. Love to you both. Sandra Murdoch watching as well. Good to see everybody here tonight. Got the chills, so beautiful. Thanks, Erin. Sending love from Illinois, our hometown girl. Maureen says absolutely lovely as well. Mary Bishop says, beautiful lady, beautiful voice. Thank you so much. Bernadette says, such a lovely voice, great duo. Christine says, so touching, Erin, and on and on and on. It's really terrific. Sherry says, oh my goodness, that was gorgeous. Thank you for sharing your amazing talents with us tonight in Lovety Hall, which the whole Lovety thing, as I mentioned, was a total mistake when I was saying light, love, and levity back in the summertime, that the show is positive and inspiring. And I said love and levity a little too fast, and we came up with Lovety. And ever since then, all the guests, all the viewers said we love the whole Lovety vibe. They call themselves the Loveties. They call me Mr. Lovety. They call this Lovety Hall. So several of them already have said that the two of you are officially Loveties on the show.
Thank you.
So you made it in. And like I was saying to David beforehand, before he went live, I said there are Grammys, there's Emmys, there's Peabodys, there's Tonys, there's Tellys, there's Emmys. But when you get a Lovety on the Jim Masters Show live, I bet your feet are tingling right now, huh?
That's
Totally.
That's the only one. It's the only one I want.
That's the only one you want. It's a Lovety. It's the best kind. We all need more. We need more Lovety. The way we spell it is a little funny, but we wanted to keep the E in so the word love is intact. It's not grammatically necessarily the proper way, but what the heck? After 2020, anything goes. We wanted to keep the word LOVE in there intact. That's why we actually had a contest. We said, should we drop the E, folks? And we would let the viewers decide. Drop the E in Lovety, keep the E in, because, I after E, the whole bit. But they voted to keep the E in, so the viewers have spoken. Love it. So beautiful, Erin, from Sherrill. And Manfred Phillips says, fabulous music, fabulous performance. Christine Clifton in North Carolina, gorgeous. Thank you to you both for sharing your talents with us tonight. You were both so very expressive. Was there something else you wanted to share as well?
Oh gosh, we hadn't planned on it. Although I keep thinking like love and light and levity gets you Lovety. I feel like you should have a little jingle for your Lovety.
Do that again. That was great.
Love and light and levity gets you Lovety.
That was great.
You're welcome. That's a present for you, Jim.
The other person that did something similar was Ann Hampton Callaway, of course, where she just went in and she was going, Lovety. She was doing the whole thing. That's fantastic. I love that. Good stuff, gang.
Did you something else?
Sure, why not? And we have videos too, but if there was something,
I'll tell you what, we'll open it up for requests.
If I know it, only if I know it, unfortunately.
Do you know the way we were?
Oh gosh, I do, but not really enough.
Any requests?
Yeah.
Opening up to the house.
well, they did say "We Shall Overcome" was another one. Edelweiss was another one that came in.
Let's do Edelweiss.
You want to do that one?
Anybody else?
Yeah, you do
There's
that.
any other options out there, but I know Edelweiss, so.
Gang, we'll give you everybody watching. Put in comments a song you would like them to perform live right now, and the next comment that comes in with a song title, we will put it in there. It could even be "Happy Birthday" if you have a birthday in the family. It could be whatever you want. So the next person that types a song title, this is sort of like American Bandstand or something, isn't it? Star Search. I'm McMahon. If you have a song you would like to have performed live right now, folks, type a title in and we will do it. Bernadette says, well, as do Morton, one says Edelweiss. Bernadette says "A Million Dreams."
I do not know that, unfortunately.
Yeah, we kind of set ourselves up.
Yeah, we did for failure.
We can do it.
Perfect by Ed Sheeran. "Natural Woman." "Love Story," the theme from Love Story. Do you do "Love in the Modern World"? Something from Carole King. "New York State of Mind" from Byron. So we've got "New York State of Mind," "Love Story," "Natural Woman," "Perfect" by Ed Sheeran. Name that tune. Do you do "Love in the Modern World"? Something from Carole King. Edelweiss. "A Million Dreams."
Wow.
And "We Shall Overcome."
Why don't we do Edelweiss? Just because you make me feel like a natural. I mean, I'd really have to be for Carole King if I'm going to do something.
"Memories" by Elvis. "Uptown Girl."
Uptown Girl.
And "The Impossible Dream."
Oh wow. Okay. Wow. They're all great.
How about a medley?
Yeah, I mean.
Here's another one. "I Will Survive."
Yeah. Okay.
They have a real broad taste, don't they? A broad taste.
I'll do a medley of as many of those as I can remember, and we'll end with Erin singing Edelweiss. How's that?
That sounds good. So you got "I Will Survive." You got "Memories" by Elvis, "Uptown Girl," "Impossible Dream." I'll throw them out. You want me to throw the names out?
Is this about Elvis, right? At first I was that's a terrible key.
At first.
That's a good one. At first, wow, that's too low.
Okay.
At first.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back from that space. You just walked in to find me here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have gave away the key. Just enough for this one moment. You'd be back to bother me. Now go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. 'Cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with goodbyes? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. Hey, looking out on the morning rain. I used to feel so uninspired when I knew I had to
So that was Uptown Girl. Next is The Impossible Dream.
Impossible Dream. I can't really sing that as well.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. Would you believe they even slipped in Material Girl from Madonna?
I'll see. Oh, are you saying?
And they had Love Story, of course. The theme from Love Story was another one. And
I'm not sure if you noticed, but I played that as she was singing I Will Survive. Da, 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 da.
You did.
Yeah.
I love that.
About music fits together. You know, sometimes that's what I love about arranging, just kind of seeing what fits with what.
Exactly. Just want to show you a few things coming in here from everybody. Lots of claps from Bernadette. I am just thankful for this from Mary Ryan. Michael Crevis, love you guys. Tesla Bellas says, wow, beautiful. One of my favorite old time songs, playing it so beautiful. David, you are so gifted. Muriel says, what a beautiful show. Thanks for sharing the love. Our pleasure. June says, bravo, XOXOXO. Merlin says, I have Edelweiss hanging on my wall.
Oh,
Very beautiful. She's in Canada. And Kathleen Walker in New York City says, awesome, bravo. And Ava, lots of smiles. Donna says, such a nice medley. Happy to be watching. We are happy you're watching on our YouTube channel as well. Welcome, Donna. Mary Bishop in Florida says, what a treat this has been. You are both amazing. Maureen says, I just love that song. You played it magnificently. Probably all of them. It was cool. I think it was better doing it that way as a medley. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Tickling those ivories like the maestro he is. Christine says, thank you, Jim. What a delightful show. Best wishes to you in 2021. Thank you very much, Christine. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And join us every day. We're here every day with amazing guests and great entertainment and more. Dorothy Lee says, thank you, David and Erin. Such a medley of music and song. Just what we need to feel comforted. Merlin says, this is awesome. Thank you. June says, love this song, Impossible Dream. Kathy in Cleveland says, I love this music mashup. So much fun. The medleys and the mashups. Donna gives you hearts. Tesla Bella in Florida. Jim Masters, you're the absolute best. God bless you for bringing such joy into our homes. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Bernadette says, cool medley. Christopher Joseph in Ohio, very nice and unusual medley of songs. It really was. I mean, you had your mix, something for everybody, like the Jim Masters Show live is every night, something for everybody. That was something for everybody. Claps from Kathleen. Mary Ryan watching in Connecticut says, thank you. Great songs bring tears to my eyes. Ava is having a wonderful time. She says, what fun. Tess says, David, you play so exquisitely. How did the two of you meet? How did that collaboration come together?
This is my favorite story to tell. So I moved to New York shortly after college, and I gave myself a couple of months to get a job and just kind of get used to New York City, because I'm from a small town in the Midwest called Oglesby, Illinois. Shout out to my homies. And the third audition I ever went on was for a new London musical called Tart. And I landed the role of the lead Tart. My mother was very proud. I'm sure she's watching right now.
Hi, Mom.
They gave us like this was cassette tapes. This is how long ago it was. Cassette tapes, and the composer was talking about the music and what each song meant, because it was all brand new music. And I told my roommate at the time, I said, if he's half as good looking as the way he sounds, I am going to be all over him. And he walked into the rehearsal room, this man right here, and my jaw dropped, and he walked straight over to me and said, hi, I'm David. And I think we just kind of fell in love with each other. If you can say love at first sight, I think at least for me, that's what it was. And he went back to London, and then 8 months later, we did a staged reading of the show. And that night before he left, he said, I'm madly in love with you. I want to move to New York. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. And he sold his apartment in London, and then 3 months later, we moved in together. And luckily, it all worked out. It could have gone really, really another way, but it went the good way. So
it went the good way. David, now tell us your version.
Okay, you've heard of the phrase "happy wife, happy life," right?
Yes.
It's exactly what she said.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
No,
he knows.
It's exactly what, like I said, I was in New York in 1999 and fell in love with it. The first time my musical was up. And then this was the second production of it. We were trying to finance a backers audition. So we rented a theater called the Abigail Adams Smith Auditorium in New York, and we did it there. So it was technically an off-Broadway house. And we, tried to get investors, but once I met Erin, it really wasn't about the musical anymore. It was it was more about how can I get to be in New York and with her. So that's basically how it happened. And that was, gosh, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you know that you were going to collaborate musically and professionally as well, or did that develop along the way?
It kind of developed.
We wanted it to.
We wanted it to, and Erin went to Indiana University, which is one of the top. In fact, it was listed as the top music school, ranking above Juilliard for the last couple of years, believe it or not. And it's a wonderful school. It's also got the best library pretty much in the world.
Which I worked at.
Actually, the Royal College of Music had an incredible library. And one of the reasons that the Royal College of Music is so wealthy is because it owns all of these original manuscripts and paintings. So, for example, they got a bunch of Mozart. And my mum, who passed away a couple of years ago, one of the greatest moments of her life, because my mum was a Mozart scholar, I managed to persuade the librarian at the Royal College of Music to get out the manuscript for Mozart's 24th Piano Concerto. And she was able to leaf through it with her fingers. They didn't even have gloves. So she was touching his signature and all of that. So, but second best university library in the world, Indiana University. So I'm bringing it back. I'm trying to find out how I got there. Okay, so so I knew that she was a serious musician and that she wanted to do it. So, you know, part of the reason that we started Empire Trio was because both of us are kind of pigeonholed into. We usually pigeonholed, like Erin. Somebody just commented that she'd be great for Disney. She would. But every time she would audition for a Broadway show, they said, "Well, your voice is so well trained, you should be doing opera."
Yeah, I got the when I was in opera, I was studying opera at Indiana University, and when I left there, I wanted to do musical theater because that's really has always been my passion. And I went to musical theater auditions, and they're like, "You have a beautiful voice. You're too trained. You're not right for this." And then I went back to opera, and then it was, you're not quite, your voice isn't really big enough, and you're a mezzo, and you're not really tall enough to do the role. So it was always something. And then we decided, we went into, we just tried a lot of different things, and we started our own little kind of jazz, trio with cello, nonetheless. And that kind of started to pick up some steam. But then we ended up doing this this cabaret show at the Triad in the Upper West Side it was Osley Trio at the time, and it just took off, like immediately took off. And we got a booking agent. We discovered that there's a market, because I mean, we're not really well known per se, we're not household names or anything like that, but we're coming up on 4,000 performances between the two of us in our career, which is a lot of performances. And part of the reason is because America is so big, and everyone takes music so seriously, and every little village and every little town has some kind of entertainment venue, whether it's a theater or whatever. So we're really, really grateful for all those places that have allowed us to continue to perform. So there's a market for people like us, who aren't playing the big halls, even though we've played Carnegie and Lincoln Center and all those places. It's not every day. So we kind of realized there was this whole world of theaters, like 35,000 of them in the country. So we created this show, and now that's how we've been able to tour, and we can choose our repertoire, and we can do a concert of opera, jazz, classical. We can mix. We like to do classical crossover, which I think really works for us, because I can sing high opera, but I can also do jazzy and belty musical theater, and David can play every style. And so that really worked for us. And then we decided, again, like David had said, that there weren't enough female groups. So then we decided to try our luck with a pop group called Uptown Girls, and we were starting to get tours, and then COVID happened. So.
You're a household name now. We love you. Thank you, Tess. Well, I'm a Loverty. That's all I care about.
That's what the Loverty is all about on the Jim Masters Show Live. Actually, we do have we got a couple of clips where we got some cool photos when you guys. I think it almost looks like you were on a safari or some beautiful vacation. Got a couple of those in there, but. This one, I believe, we'll pull this one up. I think this is this is the promo. This is a promo for O Sola Trio live at Symphony Space in New York. take a look at that, and then maybe we can talk about that when we come back. Sound good?
You know what?
Sure.
Do you have, can you type in Empire Trio?
Yeah, because Empire Oscillate Trio is no longer functioning.
So this was previous.
Yeah, this was previous. It morphed into Empire Trio. So this one, unfortunately, would be a bit outdated.
Yeah.
Type in, I think I sent you a link for Empire Trio.
So we'll
Hollywood.
We'll look for that. But in the interim, we have this. We'll surprise you.
Ah.
Really nice. Embraceable view. Beautifully done. Some of the comments you notice probably people were saying, looks like your fingers are just floating on the keys. They're just touching, tickling the ivories, literally.
That's a great arrangement. There's Earl Wild, who's a concert pianist, wrote a whole book of studies on the Gershwin songs, and they're incredible. They're really good. They're difficult, but they're kind of worth it. And they each have a technical element to them, like the Chopin studies or whoever's studies. In that case, it's you got to bring the melody out, and you've got these sextuplets, the 6 notes, but they kind of, everything's on top of each other, as you noticed.
Yeah.
That's written that way so that you can try and make it as even as possible, playing all of those fast notes between the hands. So it took some practice, but that was fun. That was a recital I did at St. Peter's in Midtown. It was a 1-hour lunchtime jazz recital. So I played mainly jazz stuff or jazz transcriptions by Oscar Peterson, Bill Evans, that kind of thing.
Very nice. We do have the O Solo Trio, and this one is Bravissimo Broadway, and we'll sample that for everybody. And did you want to say anything in advance of us showing this, or show it and then talk about it after?
Would you hate us if we said no? Because this is again
still the wrong one.
It's O Solo Trio.
It's still the old
I don't know why it's
version of it.
I don't know why it's
old, huh?
Yeah, it would be Empire Trio, because that is O Solo Trio is no longer.
They were good, but while they lasted, right? Well,
yeah.
we will dig that up if we can, but we do have something else we can entertain them with.
Okay.
Here we go. Wow. That is absolutely amazing. I like the way Erin just slid right in.
Making a drink.
She had to get me another drink.
Making the drinks. Got to refill.
That's Rachmaninoff, Momo Musico. Again, it's fiendishly difficult stuff, but I love it. And I think when you finally figure out Rachmaninoff, it really works. You know, there's so much density in his music, and the stretches are so big, but when you figure it out, it's just so, you know. it's that's his second. That's apart from his second piano concerto, but the lyricism, the melody, the line. But you have to have big hands to play Rachmaninoff, and you don't have to. I mean, one of my favorite pianists was Vladimir Ashkenazy, who says, I quote, he thinks his hands are rubbish and they're small, but no, he's a genius. But it helps if you have big hands. But I think I always like to challenge myself by learning those pieces, because I'm worried that if I can't play through a piece like the Momo Musico that you just heard, I'll start to lose my technique. And I think like every other language, you need a strong foundation. And I consider music a language, so technique is my foundation. And so I play play Mozart because it's very exposed, and that in turn helps me to play the the jazz stuff, which you can't really play without a strong foundation. So Mozart and everything else has this direct line to what we're doing now.
Very nice, very nice. We did a little digging, some quick, fast digging, and we did find the artist formerly known as. Wait, no, that was Prince.
Sorry, yes, that's the one.
The artist formerly known as. What was the decision to change the name to go to Empire from O Solo Trio?
Well, the third in our group who had originally started it with us left for personal reasons, and so we had kind of the problem with O Solo Trio is that no one could pronounce it, so we would go on tours all over, and they'd say O Solo Trio or Ole Sole or things. No one ever got it right, and also, too, people started to think that we just did Italian shows, just Italian music.
Right.
So it pigeonholed us into this thing that really wasn't us. So Empire Trio made it more accessible to, to every kind of, and to every kind of audience.
It made sense, exactly. And it sounds epic. Empire just sounds regal and epic, and something spectacular is going to be coming up next. It just has that vibe and that feel, which is because it's a little hooray for Hollywood here. Tell us a little bit about this before we show it.
So we have 5 shows, 90-minute shows that we tour with. And the 2 most popular ones are the Broadway show, which is all the greatest Broadway songs. Well, there are 450 well-known Broadway shows, so we do as many as we can. But the second show is second most popular show is called Hooray for Hollywood, which is basically a tribute to the silver screen. So it starts off about 100 years ago, and it goes to present day. So we do stuff from Singing in the Rain and Wizard of Oz, James Bond theme songs, all the way up to Where We Were. I play Schindler's List on the violin, Erin plays piano, and we do the Titanic theme. So this is, it's a show that I think people like, and we've recently added multimedia, so we added the images behind us, so it has more of a dynamic, something else to watch while you're listening to the music.
Very nice. Let's take a look at that right now from the Empire Trio. You guys are going to love this. I looked at this earlier. Here we go. Enjoy.
Hooray for Hollywood, hooey valley, hooey Hollywood. Good morning, good morning. We've talked the whole night through. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you. 2 drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend. Buzz, buzz, buzz went the buzzer. Plop, plop, plop went the wheels. Stop, stop, stop went my heartstrings. As he started to leave, I took hold of his sleeve with my hand. And as if it were planned, he stayed on with me, and it was grand just to stand with his hand holding mine to the end of the line. Troubles melt like lemon drops away upon the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I?
Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you? We'll stay forever this way. You are safe in my heart, and my heart will go on and on, on and on, on and on.
Yay.
Wow, definitely worth the wait, huh?
Yeah.
That is fantastic. So you guys have been doing that how long now?
About
I mean,
almost 10 years, I guess.
it's been, about 8 or 9 years.
With that trio.
With that trio.
Before that, our life consisted of doing odd gigs here and there, and then just me working with any number of singers. You know, I could work with 20 to 50 singers in the course of a year on cabarets and recordings and stuff. But we're really happy that we got to a point where we can have a group and work on it and develop it and create shows and go on the road and meet wonderful people like the Lovities.
Like all the Lovities, and the Lovities are loving it here. Look at all these comments coming in. Outstanding, in awe, from Tess LaBella.
Thanks, Tess.
And cheers, of course, to you guys. Christine Clifton says sensational. And Ava says, wow. And June says fantastic. They're picking all the key words.
One
Dorothy,
word.
Can we use it?
yeah, right. And Erin says, you are flying over that rainbow, Erin. You worked in some of those songs, too, that were some of their suggestions. It just happened to be.
Now that was, went and did a video in the back,
I tell you, that's it. Dorothy Lee says, I love the Empire Trio video, and David sings wonderful Erin and baritone as well. That's from Dorothy Lee. Sharon says we have the Carswell Opera House in Adrian, Michigan, in existence since 1866, where Sean Wiley, who was also a guest on our show in the summertime, a good friend, known him for years, interviewed him on public television, Under the Street Lamp, of course, where he began his career. We would love you here, she says.
Aww. Thank you so much. We'll put in the call. Thank you.
Dorothy Lee says, your comments about Mozart and jazz and needing to play Rachmaninoff to maintain technique tells us how versatile, original, and capable you are. What a talent.
Oh, thanks, Dossie. Yes.
Can you handle all this levity coming from the show, guys?
And
Such incredible talent, great music and conversation tonight. The passion is felt in all your music, David. Excellent playing, quality from Mark, of course. Yeah, really fantastic comments.
you know,
Claudia says, as working in concert producer of the upcoming operas, I'm so proud to be a new partner in David's work, especially pleased to have you and Erin in the world of cabaret, up close and personal at best. Sherry says, this has been such a relaxing, beautiful night of music. Thank you so very much. Well, we thank you too, Sherry, for tuning in and joining us. Tess says outstanding, in awe. Christine says sensational, and love it. Good stuff. Huh? Lots of levity coming our way. You know, you mentioned this, David, earlier. Tell us more about this.
Oh gosh. So one thing that I did, I started this a few years ago and never finished it, and it was really just sketches. I wanted to do, so when you learn the piano, classical piano, when you go to college, one of the things that you have to do is open up the book of Chopin studies. And the Chopin studies, he was very young when he wrote them. You know, the first 12 studies, he was basically almost a teenager. I think he was 19 or 20. And then he wrote his second 12 in his 20s, and then he wrote 3 more later on. So there are 27 studies, but the main books are the Opus 10 and Opus 25. And it's kind of like a rite of passage, you know.
Yeah.
Every conceivable piano technique that you need is in those studies. And they're very, very difficult, but, you know, most students around the world will have to play them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're incredible pieces. So I had this crazy idea once to do an arrangement of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. There's a show on NPR, Performance Today, called Piano Puzzler.
Yes.
You take a piano piece and you disguise it in the form of a great classical composer. So, for example, I tell you what, I'll give you a piano puzzler right now, because I've written a few of these myself, just to give you an idea. So this is a famous piece of music disguised as a famous composer. So see if anybody else knows what this is. You ready? And it would go on, but I'll just do a bit of it. So if anybody has any idea, the idea is that you write it as a famous composer and there's a hidden melody in that.
Right.
So I'll wait to see if anybody guesses what the composer and the melody are, but I did the same thing with this Santa Claus is Coming to Town, but I did it in the style of all the Chopin studies. So
can you play a little of that, just a tease of it?
Sure.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
For example, I'll have to play something quiet. So there's a Chopin study that goes like this. Like that. It's called the harp study because it's supposed to sound like a harp. But if you put Santa Claus is Coming to Town, in that you get Santa Claus is coming to town. So it's based off the Chopin studies. You know, another one is the Revolutionary that I played earlier, which goes like that. But if you go, you better watch out. So it's basically taking all of the technical aspects of the studies and adding the melody of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Why would I do this? I don't know. Boredom.
That's terrific. It's fantastic.
anyway, so I just did this for fun, and then a friend of mine, Joanne Polk, who's a professor of piano at Manhattan School of Music, is an incredible concert pianist, and she said to me, well, I ran into her in the street, and I said, I'm doing this crazy piece, would you want to play it someday? And she said, sure. And then 2 years pass, and then COVID happens, and I finally finish it because it's one of the things I finished. And I sent it to her, and she said, wow, this is great. I'm going to call Steinway, because she's a Steinway artist, which means that she is basically sponsored by Steinway Pianos to be an artist. So they provide her with a Steinway piano, and anything she does is under the auspices of the Steinway label and the brand, which is basically the great, I won't say the greatest piano in the world, because my piano is not a Steinway, but it's in the top 5 pianos in the world, probably top 3 pianos in the world.
Yeah.
So she went to a record producer, and they said, sure, let's do it. So they released it. So we recorded it in, I think, gosh, can't remember, May maybe. And we were all masked up, of course, and went into the studio and did it. And then Steinway released it, and then it enjoyed radio play all around the world in November and December this year. So very, very happy that some crazy little notion about, let me see how I can desecrate Chopin's studies and a classic, beautiful song and put them together. But it's sort of caught on, and it's, part of the fun of music. By the way, the piece I played earlier there's a Schubert impromptu that goes. So the style was Schubert, and if you take the melody and you play a different rhythm, so it's Beethoven's Fifth Symphony in the style of Schubert. So this is the idea about how versatile can music be. And the song that Erin sang earlier is Here's to Life, and it was a beautiful jazz ballad. In Fiddler on the Roof, you got L'Chaim, Here's to Life. To life, L'Chaim. So it's basically the same song. It's all about loving life. So it's amazing how music can be so different yet express the same message. So that's basically what I wanted to do with this set of variations.
Very nice. It's a wonderful blending, and it's a unique take on it. Do you like to do that a lot? Do you like to think outside the box and try a lot of new, different things with the music, David, and see where it takes you?
I think so, yeah. And composers all through the years have done this. Mozart's Dissonance Quartet. Mozart wrote a string quartet, and he wrote a diminished chord, and the publisher sent it back and said there was a mistake, and it was just a diminished chord, nothing wrong with that, but it was not hip, and it was not known to write such a chord in such a place at that time in musical history. So the publisher sent it back. Mozart said, absolutely not, you should publish it the way it is, but they agreed that it would be called the Dissonance Quartet to warn people that had this dissonance. And of course, one melody I can think of, dissonance chords, diminished chords in music are essential. You can't have, it has to be, you have to have that kind of diminished chord. You have to have that dissonance in music. Otherwise, it doesn't really go anywhere. So you had people like Mozart who had a limited keyboard, and then you had, Mozart would write a chord here, he'd write an octave. Beethoven would fill that up. He would add all the notes in between. Brahms, and a generation later, would put it down an octave and write these muddy chords. So every composer was aspiring to do something different that was not considered trendy at the time, or it was considered revolutionary. But of course, those are the moments which push other people to do the same thing. So if you look at the great musicians through history, from Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, and then you get into the Impressionists and their whole musical language with whole tones, and then Schoenberg with his 12-note technique, and Prokofiev and the way, if you look at Prokofiev's piano sonatas, it's a perfect history lesson in how he came from sounding neoclassical to completely modern. So, it's when I did this thing, and with the Chopin Santa thing, it's just me trying to push the boundaries of what's already been written. As far as the stuff I'm writing now, I don't want to write music which sounds like, you know, like that. And there's a lot of that out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that music deserves merit, and it's actually clever, but it doesn't sound to me, you know, music has got to evoke an emotion. So when I write music and original music, I wanted to have basically elements of everything I've learned throughout the years. And my favorite two genres are jazz and classical. So I kind of combine those and then bend the harmonies to make it my own. So I'm not really doing anything revolutionary in terms of what I'm doing with music, but I'm writing music that I think I would want to listen to and that hopefully other people will listen to as well.
What do you listen to? If we were to go into your your iPod right now or CD player or what have you, what would be in David Shenton's collection?
That's a great question. Wow. You would definitely get some Oscar Peterson, my favorite jazz pianist.
Good choice, yeah.
Yeah, I love me some Oscar. We saw one of his last ever concerts at Birdland in 2008. And we had VIP tickets, and we were right on the front row. There were 4 VIP tables, and we were positioned right here. And every time he looked up, Erin was right in his line, and he would give her a little wave or a wink. It was an incredible evening. I would have some Mozart piano concertos, probably number 20, number 24, or 27. And my favorite composer, even though I shouldn't have a favorite composer, is Robert Schumann. And Robert Schumann was a very eccentric composer, and he did things that were so subtle but had never been done before. And there's just a really great yearning about what he did. For example, if you play this note, like if you go, what's the next note you want to hear? It's like, right? You want to hear that. But Schumann always went, he would always reverse it. So it would always create this kind of tension and unexpected sort of chord progression. And his fantasy, he wrote this piano piece when he was young called Fantasy. And I could listen to that piece every day and never get bored of it because it's just so yearning, and the harmonies in it are so incredible. In terms of popular music, I probably would listen to some Queen. I love Queen. I'd have a CD of my wife's in there. I'd have a CD of my friend Mark Wade, the bassist, who's written some incredible jazz albums. Yeah, I would. That's what I'd listen to, sort of a mixture.
Any folks that you would like to duet with, play with, that are sort of on that bucket list, the dream list of people? Gee, I would love to perform with that person.
I don't know.
Or that group or orchestra, whatever it may be.
Well, I've produced orchestrations for all of our shows, and we've never been fortunate enough to do them with a top orchestra. I'd love to have a really renowned symphony orchestra to play our show, like for example, our Broadway or our Hollywood show, and use those orchestrations. But in terms of singers or performers that I haven't worked with, that I'd love to work with, I always listen to, I love Barbra Streisand as a singer, and I think I would love to play some stuff with her when she comes out of retirement for the 10th time. But I think, honestly, my bucket list has been filled. I've worked with some really great people, and I feel very lucky to have, even if they were just short gigs, it's if they're short gigs, and I know they're one-offs, there's so much more pressure because you have to make a good job of it. You can't mess up because you only have one shot. If you know it's going to be a one-off gig, if you think it's going to be an engagement that's going to last for a while, you can kind of ease into it. But yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with whoever I played for, and then I'm just excited. Like last year, I had no idea I was going to do a gig with Janice Siegel, who I've been listening to from the Manhattan Transfer since I was a kid. And when I got to do a one-on-one gig with her, it was just her and me on the piano. I did a gig with Marilyn Maye, who's incredible.
She's fantastic, isn't she?
I learned so much from playing with her.
Yeah.
I know both of her other pianists, but I got to do this one because it was out of town and I was there. But yeah, just I always learn from these people because everyone's got something different to say. So it's just really interesting. Yeah.
Did you also admire some of the conductors and arrangers like Henry Mancini and that ilk?
Yeah, Henry Mancini. I've got a couple of records of his arrangements. I particularly like his arrangement of Windmills of My Mind. I think it's really incredible. And Conrad Salinger is the great Hollywood orchestrator who did all of the great shows like Singing in the Rain and stuff like that. He was a genius because he could make a small orchestra sound like a symphony orchestra because he knew how certain combinations of instruments would play, you know, voicings. Like if you have a string quartet, there are ways to make that string quartet sound like a string orchestra if you don't have to voice each instrument. And there are ways to make it sound like two instruments if you don't. So it's, you know, and there's so much to learn. Like I said, there's just billions of combinations of things you can do. When you orchestrate, literally you have a blank sheet and you've got to put 100,000 notes on paper and they can literally go in any order. So it's, you know, unlimited.
It really
is. About music is it's unlimited.
Percy Faith Orchestra, another one that did a lot of material. Percy Faith was extraordinary. Did a lot of that layering. Ray Conniff with the vocal, using the vocal aspect, layering what sounded like 60 singers when really there was about 6 in the studio, and doing that overdubbing and layering. The Carpenters also did that a lot too. One of the early ones to do that sort of overdubbing, making things sound more expansive than they actually are. That's fantastic. People are loving some of this musical history conversation that we're having, and I'm enjoying it as well, my friend. Going to switch a little bit over to some casual photos we have here. Again, we really did some research tonight. Yeah, here's a cool one right here.
A little bit terrified of this. All right, so
where are you guys? This looks like it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, so
in Africa?
It was in Africa, yeah, that was in Kenya. Yeah. So music is my main love, but I don't think I could ever live a day without thinking or writing or, you know, at least listening to music. But of course, there are times when I want to travel, and there are other things in the world which Erin and I are equally passionate about. One of them is animal conservation and animal preservation, especially endangered species. So we've been to Africa several times, and we've volunteered and we've taught in schools, and but we've done safaris too while we've been there. So this was in Masai Mara, and this was a big male lion. I think he was 17 years old, and he wasn't 17. How old was he? 14. And
your associate producer said that?
Yeah, my producer, yeah. She didn't even say that.
She's like, I know the age. I was there. That's me.
It's so unfair because, you know, the female lions have to get up in the morning and hunt.
Yeah.
And they bring the food home, and then the male lions eat it, and then what's left the female lions get. And the female lions did all the hunting. It's just, you know, it's so unfair. Cheetahs are my favorite. So this was in Masai Mara as well. And we saw this family of cheetahs, and they were just all sitting down. There was a mother who's there and three kids. And all of a sudden, they all got up and stood, and they all started walking, and every single step was the same. So all the right feet went together, and they walked at exactly the same speed, and they formed this diamond formation. So the mother was in front, and then the three were kind of triangle behind, and they all went, and there was a herd of wildebeest in the distance. And they were going for the hunt, and all of a sudden they went down, and we didn't see them, but then all of a sudden you saw this boom, and within a couple of seconds these cheetahs were doing 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
And we didn't see them catch the wildebeest, but we saw them launch onto this poor animal, but later they were successful. We saw the kill later. And this is the lion. Yeah, it's always safe to see a lion in the afternoon in Africa because they've already eaten.
Yes, right. But make sure you do it then, right?
This is a big guy. I mean, huge and so powerful. Incredible animals. although lions and cheetahs are incredible, but the strongest big cat is the leopard. You know, it can carry 400 pounds of weight up a tree in its mouth. And if you think about that, it's incredible. I mean, I weigh 200 pounds.
That's extraordinary.
It can carry 2 of me in its mouth and walk up a tree. Oh, this was...
or you can go up in a hot air balloon if one's chasing.
Yeah. So we were in another balloon, but we actually were fortunate enough to take a hot air balloon going north towards Tanzania as the migration was happening going south. So we were flying about 100 feet above the ground as millions of zebra and wildebeest and other animals were impala and, you know, dik-diks and all these wonderful creatures were all running south.
And what was that feeling like when you guys were experiencing that?
It was incredible. You literally felt like you were. It's so peaceful because there's no sound in a hot air balloon except when they light the flame. But it's incredible feeling. The one thing about hot air balloon I didn't realize is that when you land, you know, you land at about 25 miles an hour, and it just basically smashes you on the ground. Then the basket flips. You have to hold on for dear life because you can literally be thrown out of the basket.
Yeah.
You're not strapped in or anything. Yeah, that's after we landed. So you just hold on to those.
So you landed sideways like that?
Yeah, you have to climb in sideways. Yeah, so you climb in like that.
Yeah.
And then as the balloon inflates, it goes upright, and then you go off, and then when you land, it kind of glides down. And there was a big gust of wind as we landed, so we landed very bumpily, but we were lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, and as well as being an honorary Lovetti, I'm an honorary member of the Maasai tribe because I was able to jump higher than any of those guys. Because one of the ways that they initiate you and get you a bride in the Maasai tribe is you have to jump up and down. And fortunately, I was wearing sneakers which had a good lift. So I was against one of these guys, and we had to just jump. And once you start jumping, you know, you get higher and higher. And I managed to get higher than him, so they made me an honorary Maasai tribe warrior.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's
cool. The thing about these people is that they're the happiest people we ever met.
Yeah.
You know, they own nothing materially, you know, and they live very simple lives, but they're the happiest and the sweetest people you'll ever meet. And it just makes you realize, you know, that what we have is, you know, we're so lucky to have what we have. So I can never complain about anything, really.
Yet sometimes you can have everything in the world, all the gifts, the trappings, the treasures, the money, and still not be happy because, you know, you have to chase more and chase more and chase more. And I think that's one of these things that maybe has hopefully coming out of everything we've been experiencing this year is that people are realizing what really matters in life most. And it's, you know, our loved ones and our family and our friends and the connections we have, the relationships. And then you know, as happy as we want to make everybody else, we too internally have to be happy. We have to make sure that we're happy with what we see in the mirror. And I think a lot of people have had that opportunity to look in the mirror and then make choices and decisions going forward. Maybe they've always wanted to go on an African safari. Maybe they've wanted to write a book, whatever it is, you know, learn an instrument, anything, career change, do something different. I think a lot of people are looking through everything that we've experienced this last year or so. What am I going to do with the next chapter of my life? What's the next few things I want to do? So if it is, you know, hot air ballooning or whatever it is, do it and enjoy it. And I'm a big believer in that because life, as we know, is short and it's precious. And everybody has value. Everybody has a voice, and everybody, you know, should be at the table. Here's another great shot. Tell us about this one.
That's the Blue Mosque. No, is that the mosque or the Hagia Sophia? It's in Istanbul.
That's in
Actually, 1 year to the day we were standing in that spot. A bomb went off exactly where we were standing. Terrorist attack. Exactly where we're standing on that fountain. It's crazy. 1 year, yeah. That's where I got the saffron crystals from for my gin and tonics. That's the what's it called in Rome? Not Rome. The Athenaeum in Athens. No.
Oh, you're talking about the Parthenon?
Parthenon, thank you.
Yeah, the Parthenon. Yeah.
Parthenon in Athens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
So did you go from Athens straight to Africa? How did that work? Was Athens sort of like the hub?
These are many trips that the pictures.
Several different trips.
Yeah. So this particular trip was Istanbul, Athens, and Santorini, where we went. I scuba dived for the first time in Santorini. Oh, there's me scuba diving. Oh my gosh.
Are we good or what?
You're a magician. Is that actually that's Erin? Look at the hairline. That's Erin. She was a natural scuba diver. She was great. I did the stupidest thing because we found this company that allowed us to go and scuba dive without any official certificate. And they said, you know, if you get panicked, hit this button. We're 40 feet down, and I got disoriented. And so I hit this button. I went shooting up to the top, and they said, "You realize your lungs could have exploded
if you go too fast."
And they hadn't told us that. So Erin says they did, but no, I missed it. But you know,
how far down were you guys with that shot there? How far down is that?
4 meters.
I mean, it looks like bottom.
Well, 30 meters. So what, 90 feet something?
90 feet. Yeah, that's pretty. You know, if you're not used to doing that in those depths, and if not necessarily advisable. My brother-in-law did a lot of diving. They used to do a lot of diving off the east coast of the United States when there would be wrecks. He did something he did when he was, you know, in his teenage years, for wrecks when they had to go down salvaging sunken ships and things of that nature, which is something, and they go way, way down, but it's absolutely extraordinary. So there's proof of the pudding. She did it 90 feet down.
She did. She was a natural.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that one. So this was one of my favorite trips. This was 2.5 weeks in Peru. We did the whole country. We started off in Lima, and then we went to Arequipa, and then we went to Cusco, and then we went to Nazca, and we went in a little private plane and saw the Nazca lines. Then we went to Machu Picchu, and we got there before the sun came up and the clouds were rising. We were the first people there. It was incredible. And the Peruvian people were the nicest people. And went to Lake Titicaca, and we went to the floating islands of Uros, which if you take a boat in Puno, which is 14,500 feet from sea level, there were these islands made out of reeds. And on each island, which is approximately about 30 meters in diameter, there are 4 houses all made from reeds. And then there are boats made from reeds. And for buoyancy, they use Inca Cola cans. Inca Cola is like Coca-Cola over there.
Yeah.
And they eat reeds. They make books out of reeds. They do everything with reeds. And we went there. It was the most tranquil place I've ever been to in the world because we were so high up. We're in the middle of this lake. And there was just not a soul for literally hundreds of miles. It was beautiful. But Peru was incredible. It was incredible.
Now, what does this make you think of? You could probably even play this on the piano. Dun 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 dun.
Oh gosh. So this was a bucket list item of mine. So we're in South Africa, and I said to Erin, I want to go diving with the great white sharks. So this is a picture I took while we were still in the boat. But the reason that there are no photographs of me in the cage, well, there are actually, but they're not. They're not pretty because I was physically sick because I get really seasick. And we're on this boat, and they put me in. It was freezing cold, and they put me in this cage, and they lower you down into the ocean, and there's all these big sharks swimming around you, and I could deal with the sharks, funny thing. I wasn't scared, I wasn't intimidated, but I felt so sick from the smell of the gasoline from the boat.
Just all of everything.
I ended up vomiting everywhere, and it wasn't a pretty sight.
Folks, we do not have those photos, nor would we show them. This is a class operation here at the Jim Master Show Live. Take him for his word.
To get face to face with a great white was, and you know what? The great whites in South Africa, they're being eaten by big whales. I don't know if you saw that on the news, but there's virtually no sharks left in South Africa. That's why they always go for Shark Week. But these massive whales are coming and eating them all.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. It's another shot.
So this is one of the most grounding experiences we ever did. This is the prison in on Robben Island, just south of Cape Town, where Nelson Mandela was held prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I remember about this was that it's so isolated. Another treacherous voyage to get there. I think 90% of the people on the boat trip on the way there ended up having to use a sick bag because it's one of the treacherous seas in the world, and it's about a 45-minute trip. But once you get there, the sun was so bright, and there was a quarry where they made Nelson Mandela and all of the prisoners he was with. They made them mine for up to 16 hours a day.
Ooh.
It was so bright that it's like looking at the sun. And these people weren't allowed any protection for their eyes, and they were forced to mine for chalk and for limestone and all these other things for 16 hours a day, and most of them went blind. And I just remember thinking that it was just inhumane. The cell itself, the cell where he stayed, was pretty small, but he had a mattress and stuff, and that's at least a blessing there. But it was very, very grounding and very very moving. One of the guards who was there, his name was Sipo, and every curator of that museum, everybody who takes you on a tour, was a prisoner there, which makes that museum really unique. So our guide had actually been in the same cell block as Nelson Mandela and his friends. So it was just a really incredible moment.
Like a once in a lifetime experience that, the feelings of it and the experience you'll take with you literally forever, David. Here's another great shot.
Oh, that's him. That's Sipo. He was there. He said at one point they got this test tube and they got this one drop, and it was acid. They shaved his head and they put one drop of acid on his head, and he said he didn't feel anything, but all of a sudden he felt it burning, and it literally went right through his skull.
Wow.
And it was how they used to treat them and torture them if they were caught. They used to have tennis balls, and they used to get a razor blade, put a little slice in the tennis ball, stick a note inside, and throw the ball out with the hopes that somebody somewhere might get the message. And more often than not, they didn't. This was when we were volunteering in Zimbabwe. This is an incredible place called the Imire Conservation. It's for elephant and rhinos. And are they black rhinos or white rhinos in the pens? Black. Oh, those are black rhinos. So this was, again, another grounding experience. We got to basically live in a village with villagers, and we had to do everything from digging ditches to mucking out the elephants. You would not believe how much poo an elephant does every day. It would literally take they eat a ton of food a day.
They call it dung, don't they? Elephant dung. Yeah.
I mean, and we had this broken wheelbarrow, and we had to shovel this, dung, and it would take about, 8 to 10 wheelbarrows full of it. And then we had to muck out the rhinos. We had to walk them. We had to track them. We had to build stables. We had to chop down trees and take all the bark off. Wow. We had to build a bridge. We had to teach in schools. But again, it's really an incredible experience. And when you come back to New York and you're doing your concerts and stuff, it's almost surreal that you just experienced that. Yeah. But again, I'm so glad that we did it.
Sure.
And the main reason we did it is because Erin has an obsession for elephants. I'm not sure if you can see on the piano here. There's I'm going to bring it closer, but try not to drop it.
I actually rode on an elephant once, and if you're used to riding horses, which I am, riding an elephant is something a little bit different. It's just a different setup, and you're actually they had us sort of almost hanging onto the ears a little bit. It was just an incredible experience riding an elephant. But I'll always remember that. But if somebody's used to riding a horse, riding an elephant is not exactly the same.
No, it's not. This is I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is This is one piece of stone from the Zambezi River at Victoria Falls, and it's basically an elephant and a calf, baby elephant. And in all over Africa, you have these craftsmen, these incredible people who make these things for a living, and they sell them to tourists like us. And it's incredible, the craftsmanship. But Erin has, can we say, a mild obsession with elephants, which is why we've been to Africa so often. And but we really believe strongly in conservation for, especially endangered species. Okay, this was in Zimbabwe. So this lion here, his name is Mambo, and he was abused by humans. Unfortunately, he was the angriest lion you will ever meet anywhere. All he had to do was eat and kill everybody. He was so angry, and he had these bright yellow eyes, and it was terrifying, but I had to feed him. So in my hand right there is part of the carcass of a cow. It was disgusting. It smelled the iron, but I had to take it, stand on top of that platform. If I'd have fallen, I'd have fallen in with the lion, but
yeah,
and I had to throw this thing which weighed about 60 pounds. And I threw it on the floor, and the lion picked it up with his teeth and just literally put his head up and kind of walked off proudly with this thing in his teeth. I mean, 60 pounds worth of meat.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's incredible. These creatures are incredible. So, and when that lion roared, you could hear it 4 kilometers away. It's so amazing how the sound traveled. This was when we were teaching in the schools in a little village called Wedza, just outside of, about 90 miles outside of Zimbabwe. And it was really cool because there were 6 of us teaching kids, and we were given these books to read to the kids, but the kids didn't understand English. So 4 of the 6 teachers, actually me included, were reading the books, and the kids just had blank expressions on their faces. And they turned around, and Erin is, all of the kids from the other classes had gone to Erin, because instead of just reading the book, she was just basically saying the key words. So she was saying fast, and then she was kind of emulating what fast means, like fast, and slow, and she was doing all of these mimes and basically teaching the kids what the words meant. And then by the time we had, left, they just didn't want us to leave, because she had really kind of got through to the kids, and they were learning stuff because of her learning technique, something that I didn't even think of. But those kids, again, the nicest kids you'll ever meet.
That's fantastic to have an opportunity to come across them.
Okay, and this one is, so if you look to the bottom right under the wing, this is my David Attenborough moment. So if you look under the right wing, you'll see a 12-foot a Mozambique spitting cobra, like the one in Indiana Jones.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, so we were just driving along to the school, and our guide spotted this bird, and this is a brown eagle. It has a 2-meter wingspan, and he had just attacked this cobra, and he was trying to kill it. And we watched this battle for about 40 minutes, and this bird was just digging in with its talons and not letting go. We were feet from this thing, and we were just watching it. When we went to teach at the school for the whole day, we were driving back, and we saw this same bird up in the tree, and it had successfully killed the bird, successfully killed the cobra, which was way too big for it to carry home.
Yeah.
So
it's an incredible experience.
It was just there guarding it and just staying there until it had feasted on it. This is probably one of our favorite trips too. This was in that's Abu Simbel in Egypt. We did a 2.5-week trip of Egypt and Jordan, and Egyptology has always been something I've been fascinated with. Seeing King Tut's headpiece and all of that kind of stuff. So we decided a couple of years ago to go to Egypt, and this is Abu Simbel, which is in gosh, I forgot what the name of the area is. It was 117 degrees that day, but it was a dry heat, and it didn't feel more than like 90 degrees really.
That's incredible. Incredible experiences.
This is the tomb of Ramesses II, I think, or parts of it. We went to every tomb. We got a private tour of 7 tombs, including King Tut. And anybody who ever wants to go to Egypt, it's actually a really safe city, country. It's a beautiful country, and the people there are incredible.
Yeah.
And if you grease the palms of all the people in the tombs, they'll take you places you're not supposed to go.
That seems to be a universal language, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Greasing the palms.
This was my favorite Facebook post of all time. This is I posted that on a Wednesday and said, "Happy Hump Day, everybody."
Yeah. And you guys are positioned in between each of the pyramids, sort of positioned perfectly there.
Yeah, that was fun. We got to do that for about 2 hours and went, and that. So you reckon? Well, this is in Jordan. So Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was filmed here. Most people know the facade of the other place. I forgot what it's called. But if you are willing to trek for 3 hours, climb up the mountain, it's like a zigzag path they've made. And when you get to the top, you get to the Abbey, which is about 4 times the size of the usual place where people go.
Incredible.
And there it is. Yeah, there's the Indiana Jones place. The thing about Jordan is that it was incredible, but we went there after Egypt, and Egypt is 4,000 years old. Jordan's 1,200 to 1,800 years old, and there's nothing there really except the facade. You can't go in; it's just carved into the stone, and it's crumbling because a lot of it's sandstone, and they get heavy winds. So I feel like I wish we'd have done that first, because it was kind of I don't want to say a letdown, because it was incredible, but having seen Egypt and these tombs where they're 4,000 years old, and the colors and the gold is still intact and everything is perfect, and then you go to that, it was just like wah, wah. But it was still an incredible thing. We're glad we did it. And we got to go there at candlelight at night. We all went on horseback to the Indiana Jones place. We lit 1,000 candles, and they did a music concert, which was nice.
What obviously nobody's really traveling right now. However, when we can, and we will again, what's on the bucket list? Where would be ultimate places you'd like to perform that you haven't performed at yet, and then ultimate places you would just like to be a tourist and visit?
Well, first place is I'm going to go to England to visit my family, and then to Chicago area to visit Erin's family. In terms of where I would like to travel, we had planned to go to Africa again, to Botswana, and we'd also planned a trip to Paris and Florence. Now we've lost over a year's worth of income, so I'm not sure if any of those things can happen at any time soon, but those are the dream places we would like to visit as tourists. And after that, we'd like to go to Southeast Asia, to Vietnam and Laos and Indonesia and Bali, places like that. We'd like to see more of South America, go to Ecuador and Bolivia and Colombia and Brazil. And as far as the places we'd like to play, honestly, we've played a lot of the big concert halls, but there's no place that stands out. Like, I wish I could play at Boston Symphony Hall, whatever. I just want to play in theaters and bring music back to communities. I don't care if it's a black box theater in New York, or I don't care if it's a restaurant in, Gilbert, Wyoming, or Gilbert, Montana, or wherever it is. It doesn't matter. It's just doing what we love, which is to bring live music to an audience who wants us to be there. So it really doesn't matter where it is.
Just listening to all the sound effects. You're not playing a sound effect record back there, are you?
No, I live on
sounds of the city. It's amazing, because it's like somebody's in the other room and they're just playing a record of sound effects.
Yeah. We have, since COVID, a lot of people got bored, and I'm sure it's the same there, but we had huge problems with fireworks, huge problems with drag races.
There was a whole thing with that in the summertime, right? Yeah.
Every day, just thousands of fireworks going off, drag races going up and down Queens Boulevard.
But not happening now, right? It's not, that stopped?
No, that's just fire trucks and ambulances you're hearing. Police cars and the 7 trains going by right now. Yeah.
When you look at all of this body of work over the years and the wonderful things you've had an opportunity to do individually and collectively, David, and of course with Erin, all the way from those early years, what continues to bring you the greatest blessing and joy and inspiration that propels you to want to continue to create and perform and share all this extraordinary brilliance of music with all of us?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm a student of music and I'm always learning. So I always feel like I'm getting better at something. And I want to be able to bring that love and bring music to audiences so that they have something, to enjoy. So that's in terms of performing. In terms of writing, I feel like my composing is getting better the older I get. I'm more, I craft my compositions more, I spend more time on honing them and getting the lines right and the harmonies and make sure that there aren't too many notes. It's like from Amadeus, too many notes during Mozart. Well, I always think of that, and there's, economy of notes is a very important thing in music. You don't want to overwrite. So I'm just looking forward to writing more and performing more. And like I said, performing more in communities, meeting people. One of the greatest things we do is, greatest joys is after every concert, we meet the audience and we have a merchandise table where we sell all of our CDs and things. And just talking to the people and talking to the locals, it's the nicest thing. And it's always something I look forward to. And we never leave the theater until the last audience member's left. Sometimes we're there for 10 minutes, sometimes we're there for an hour or more, but it's what brings us joy. And, if you have a person who's willing to buy a ticket and then get dressed up and then put on makeup and put on perfume and get in a car and drive to a venue and then sit patiently and watch your show, you have an obligation to stick around and thank them for coming. And that's what we love to do.
Always are being appreciative of those who are loving and absorbing and also appreciating the product and what it is that you're delivering. I'm right in there in sync with you, which is why we like to bring in, I do it in my professional work in television and radio and more, is I love to engage the audience. I like to bring people into the mix. We do it with this show, as you've witnessed as a guest and a viewer. You've got sort of both feelings now of how we do the Jim Masters Show live. So you're very cognizant and very gracious when it comes to acknowledging those who believe in you and support your work, Erin's as well. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I wish more people did that. I try to do it as well, because without the folks who are sharing how much the work that you do and the talent that you offer and the creativity that you offer means to them, then, you wouldn't have the understanding maybe of how it really touches people. I imagine that when you do get a letter or a note or somebody comes up to you after a performance, or they just bump into you, at the supermarket or whatever it is, and they tell you, "Oh, I've been following for years. I've loved everything you've done," or "You really moved me, touched me with this song, this melody," whatever it is. It must really move you and touch you to hear that feedback from those whose lives you've touched through your music.
Yeah, it really does. And this is the one profession where, without the audience, there is no us. We can't do this unless we have an audience. And for our trio, for example, we're 3 people. We rely on people to come and see us and enjoy our music, and we hope they do. But without them, there's no point of us doing this. So we have to thank the audience for being an audience. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a job. So we kind of owe them everything, really.
What's on your bucket list? Do you have anything coming up that you have in your on your vision board there? What you would like to do going forward? Some other things?
Just in life.
Like, and with the career as well.
With the career, well, I'd love to see my operas succeed. I'd like to write more. You know, and just keep on performing. That's really what I live for, is to write and perform. I do a lot of teaching as well. I like to see my students excel. In terms of any other things, I really want to work on my golf game. I'm an avid golfer, and at the end of the summer I play quite well, but beginning of the year it's always a mess. But I'm getting better at golf, and that's one thing I really love to do. It relaxes me, and I think it's a great sport, and it's been one thing I've been able to do this summer a bit, because I was out playing on my own, and you had to go out on your own as a single, so no contact with people. You mentioned the teaching. Do you like to teach and inspire others? Yeah. A few of my students were online earlier today, and they commented. But teaching is great. If you're entrusted to pass on your knowledge to other people, you have a really big responsibility. So you have to do it as well as you can. So being a teacher, both Erin and I teach a lot, and something we're passionate about, and that's why we always work in an outreach or a masterclass every time we do a concert. So we'll stick around the next morning before we go off to the next city or get on the next flight. We'll do another masterclass or a concert for school or something, and hopefully inspire some kids to carry on what we're doing when we're too old to perform. Yeah, that's it. Paying it forward and sharing the talent is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Well, David, this was extraordinary. Would you believe we've been chatting for 3 hours and 21 minutes? Good gracious. Are you kidding? It doesn't seem like that, right? It's no. It just flows, and it's conversational and warm, and every single guest who's been on, and even the viewers, say it never feels the length that it turns out to be. We just let it roll. I always ask the guests, how long do you have? And do you have to be somewhere? Do you have to rush off? Because then, we'll do a quick show or we'll adjust the timing. But every but guest has just rolled, and they've loved it. And great. Well, thank you. And thanks to all your audience all around the world, the Lovities. I love you. We love you, me and Erin. And hopefully we'll see you one day. If you ever come to one of our concerts, I don't know where my website is, but am I allowed to say my website? Oh, sure. Yeah. Matter of fact, Marcia Line in Massachusetts was saying, once you're able to perform again, where can we find your upcoming concerts? Okay. So are you still online, Erin?
I am, yeah.
Can you type in my website and
do you want both?
Do my website and Empire Trio and Uptown Girls. So Erin, my wife, is gonna post 3 websites where you can find.
Oh, I forgot the www for the first one. Sorry.
Oh, she feels www. Main website like davidshenton.com or something, and then they can go. Main website is shentonmusic.com. Shentonmusic.com. Yeah, David Shenton is actually, believe it or not, a common name in England. So yes, there's another. I don't know if he's a philosopher or somebody that comes up. Actually, well, and in England too, James Masters or Jim Masters. It took me, oh my God, over 15, 16, 17 years plus of waiting to be able to get jimmasters.com. Oh, and gosh. I just got it 3 months ago. Good for you. I have .net, .this, .live, .tv, but it took that long because there's a singer, performer in England with that name, and he forever had jimmasters.com. And then I just over the summertime released it or whatever happened. And I had to go through the Netherlands, a company in the Netherlands, in order to acquire it. So the American company, website company, houses it. But it was a really interesting thing. And it just was one of those things where you have to move very quickly. And now it's unbelievable because it's tripled in value or something like that because it's now captured. I was very pleased because it took me that long, years and years of checking and checking and checking and checking. So finally got jimmasters.com working on that. But so shentonmusic.com, and then they can be directed from there to other things that you do. Yeah, and empiretrio.com and uptowngirlslive.com. But if you go to shentonmusic.com, you'll we don't know what our schedule is right now, but we do know that we have bookings next year. We have a Midwest tour in March for about 20 shows with Uptown Girls. We have a 9-concert tour in Montana in April, and we have a bunch of other shows. We have some in Florida, some in Wisconsin, South Carolina. So hopefully those will happen in 2022. We're still waiting on 2021, but any updates will be on my page. And again, if anybody here or anybody you know comes to one of our shows, please come say hi.
Oh, yeah. Well,
especially in Lovity.
That's right. Just tell them you're Jim Masters Show Lovity. Absolutely. There's the website. We put it up on the screen there, shentonmusic.com for you guys. So it's there. Check out all the performances and music that's available and everything. And I look forward to us getting together as well. And with our dear friend June, too, would be fabulous. And we'll see you.
I'm so glad June, introduced us.
And yeah, she's wonderful with that. And hopefully we'll all be able to maybe go to dinner in the city, at some point soon, which would be nice as well, and break some bread, pour some wine. I love doing that. And but this was really a joy. And I appreciate both of you joining us and spending so much time and opening up your lives and opening up your home and performing live, and then all the great video work and photos, and it was really extraordinary. One other thing that our viewers really enjoy, and if you've seen the other episodes, it's sort of like that show that Edward R. Murrow used to do on CBS, where he's leaning back in the chair with a cigarette. And now we're going into the home of Lucio Ball and Desi Arnaz. They like to know the setting where the guest is. So tell us about the room that you're in.
Shall I move the camera around?
You could. Some people have actually walked with it.
Okay, so this used to be the second bedroom in our apartment, but we have this 7'4" Bösendorfer grand piano which moved in. The piano's name is Wolfgang Catherine. Wolfgang because after W.A. Mozart, and Catherine after my late mother. It's so Wolfgang Catherine is the name of the piano. We have some African masks on the wall over here. We have a Degas over here, which you can't see. My office is in the corner, which you can't see. And then behind us, we have a closet, which is full of my sheet music and some suits and stuff. This is Didier Lorenzo, which is a Spanish artist who did this this print, something from Egypt here on the wall. And that's basically it. Yeah, this used to be a bedroom, and now it's the music room. Oh, and on here, just on this side of the room, if I can do this, there's a Yadro there, which is what I bought Erin on our first anniversary. This picture, I'm not sure if you can see, but that's when Erin played My Fair Lady. She was Eliza Doolittle. That's her in her ascot get-up. There's a picture of my darling late mother there. There's a Bistro Award for Best Pianist or something. And then down here, there's a bunch of really old books. And these things, I'll be very careful. This is some of my favorite art. We bought these in Zimbabwe. This is Chief Javonga. He is the leader of the tribe of Victoria Falls. This was carved out of a single rock from the bottom of the Zambezi River. This is the level of artistry that these guys in Zimbabwe are able to do basically in a couple of days. And I'm just always baffled when I look at this. Look how beautiful that is. And that's him. And then his wife, Lady Javonga, is here. So they kind of sit and watch over me and make sure that I'm staying out of trouble. And then behind that, you actually have a beautiful piece of art by my niece, Anna, in London. And that's it, some more African masks. Yeah, so guests who come here and stay used to have a bed, but now they have to sleep in this space in the corner. We get the air mattress out because the piano basically takes up the whole room.
Very cool, my friend. Nice to take us on that home tour there. You've got a lot. I really like the lamp that's there, the sort of triangle lamp behind you with the red.
Yeah, thanks. That's Pottery Barn.
That's Pottery Barn, really?
Yeah, I bought that in 2002, and it still works. Still the same light bulb. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's still the same bulb. Is it LED?
No, we bought a crate and barrel lamp as well once, and the light bulb lasted for 15 years, and we gave it away. And I don't know, there was something about light bulbs in 2003.
Yes, there was. Get them while they were hot, literally. Funny. Well, David, this was, I don't know if you still have the glass there, if it's empty at all.
It was just about
toast to you and Erin, if she's there on the other side of the camera. We toast Erin.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us, Erin.
Cheers.
That's right. The fictitious glass. You guys.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and thank you to your incredible audience for their love and support. And you rock, and I hope that this show goes on for every single day for the rest of everyone's lives. It's so wonderful.
I appreciate
it. It's really wonderful. Thank you.
Very kind of you. Well, I hope the show met, I say this to all the guests, I hope that it met whatever expectations that you had, and that you certainly enjoyed your time with me, as well as our international Lovity viewing audience. And you've enjoyed it as much as I certainly have.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Thank you.
Be well, stay safe, keep bringing us the beautiful music, and we shall gather again real soon, okay? And let's stay in touch and keep each other abreast on what we're doing. And you guys, of course, are welcome back on the show at any time. We'll have you back and
thank you.
Share some what you're up to and spread the word about the show. We would love that.
We will. We'll be honored. Thank you, Jim.
Cheers. Have a good night.
Cheers. Good night.
Night.
Good night. Absolutely amazing. Did you guys enjoy? It was fantastic. We had not only wonderful pianist, violinist, and composer David Shenton, but we had his lovely wife, putting the glass down there before I drop it. Erin joined us as well. It was sort of a little secret that David and I had, and Erin, the three of us, we didn't want to necessarily announce that Erin was going to come on. We wanted to surprise you. And she's amazing too, right? A wonderful couple, very talented. And if you are somebody who has followed them, you know their work, Empire Trio as well, and Showstopper and everything else that they do. Well, then maybe you learned a little bit more than you knew of them before tonight's show. And a lot of people say that when they watch the Jim Master Show live, they know some of the guests very well, but then they end up leaving watching our show more deeply informed about the individual, what makes them tick, and why they do what they do, and some of the other nuances of their life. And I think that's fantastic. I do as well as your host. I'm always learning. I love to dig deep, and I love to share experiences, and I love to have opportunities to share them with you. Opportunities that are inspiring and uplifting, I think, are of great value to me. And I know from the community that we've created here of Lovity and our viewers around the world, many of you have been saying the same thing, that you really have been enjoying the experiences that we've been having together. And I think that's really cool. So those of you who have known David and Erin, maybe you learned a little bit more about them and their lives behind the scenes, especially those photos when they were on their travels. And for those of you who tuned in, and maybe this is the first time that you became familiar with David and his brilliant work, and Erin as well, that's terrific too. Now that you can add their music to your library of musical treats. Really brilliant having them here. And we spent a good amount of time chatting this evening. If you'd like to see this episode again, you could definitely do that by going to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. If you haven't subscribed, we would love if you click subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of the incredible material that we have, because we're always doing shows daily. Matter of fact, tomorrow, listen to this. We have 2 live shows tomorrow with 2 additional epic guests. It's going to be a really monster weekend of guests. Tomorrow we have, live from Athens, Greece, French-Greek singer, songwriter, and actually great friend. We've been friends for years, George Paris. is going to be with us live from Athens on the Jim Masters Show Live. That is, again, Saturday, January 16th, 2021. It's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And for those watching in Greece, Eastern European time, it is going to be 8 p.m. Now, you guys love the chairs, right? There's your chair shot. Every episode of our show, we always get the chair, which is really, really cool, isn't it? And sometimes if a guest steps away, whatever, I should put a whole show, just a collection of the chairs, all the different chairs that the guests have sat in. It's so cool. And I know you guys always ask for a chair shot. There's your brilliant chair shot. Now it's angled so beautifully with the piano. Anyway, getting back to telling you about this extraordinary weekend we have coming up. French Greek singer, songwriter, George, that's a running joke we have on the show about all the chairs. It's really cool. I should really do a whole show just on the chairs that we've seen on our show. French Greek singer, songwriter George Paris is with us live tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's a very special time. Normally our shows are 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific live. But we have two shows tomorrow. So we have the 1 p.m. show, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 10 a.m. Pacific. He's also going to perform live. Those of you in the Eastern European time zone, Greece, etc., 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's going to be exclusively on the YouTube channel. So make sure you are in tune with our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, because that's exclusively on YouTube. Then tomorrow night, we have award-winning, Grammy-winning composer, arranger, and pianist, the incredible John Prue is going to be with us live. He's also going to perform live. John is extraordinary. Again, he's a Grammy-winning composer, musician, pianist, arranger, the whole bit. He's all excited. This is an exclusive on our show. John is going to be with us, and he's going to perform live, and that's going to be brilliant. That is tomorrow, Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Jim Masters Show Live. And then live from England, or is it going to be Ireland? We're going to find out. We're not sure if he's going to be in England or Ireland. He's from England, Irish heritage as well. It is a great friend of ours, Nathan Carter, Ireland's leading country music singer, Nathan Carter, who had a public television special last year, and had the opportunity to interview him, along with Chloe Agnew, who we did mention this evening, who you know originally from Celtic Woman, on the Jim Masters Show Live this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So those of you watching right now in England and Scotland and Ireland and Spain and France, we have a lot of viewers that watch us in Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, United States, Mexico, Canada. Nathan Carter is here this weekend. That's right. Live from Europe this weekend. I'm not sure if he's going to be in England or Ireland, one or the other. And we're looking forward to having Nathan on the show. That's this Sunday. So again, we have tomorrow, George Paris, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. in Greece, live, the incredible French Greek singer, songwriter, and great friend. And then tomorrow night, Grammy-winning composer, pianist, and arranger, John Prue is going to be with us live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Sunday again, Nathan Carter is going to be here, which is going to be extraordinary. Special time, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, England, GMT, on our YouTube channel exclusively. Believe it or not, we also have Rebecca Harkin coming on just about 2 weeks. Rebecca Harkin is the sister, of course, of Keith Harkin from Celtic Thunder, who was a guest on our show just a matter of weeks ago. She is a phenomenal performer in her own right. She's going to be live from Australia. That's right, from Australia. If you want to see the dates and times of all these artists, go to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, if you're not on it yet, and you'll see everything is there. Also, our Facebook page, Jim Masters TV, has a lot of it all mentioned there neatly for you as well. Television, those of you who are a fan of television, coming up, we have Anson Williams, who played Potsy on Happy Days on ABC. There he is when he played Potsy on the left. There he is today. Wonderful actor and so much more. He's going to be joining us upcoming episode of our show. Also want to let you know we have some new announcements as well, that coming up next Saturday, renowned singer, songwriter, and actor Sam Harris is going to be here. That's right. Sam Harris is going to be here next Saturday, not tomorrow, a week from this Saturday. And he's amazing. He's going to be here as well. We have Nikita Erstein is going to be coming up on the show. Next week, we also have Patricia Eltinge. She's an amazing dream analyst and author. She actually analyzes dreams and what they mean. She's coming up next Friday on our show. So those of you watching, think about the dreams you've been having. Write them down, because she's also going to take live questions and analyze dreams live on the air. So that's going to be cool. She, again, is a renowned dream analyst and author, and she's going to be here this coming week on the Jim Masters Show Live. Now, gang, you know, in the United States, you guys have been asking me about this. We posted this on Facebook, and you guys seem to really enjoy it. It is, boy, this hair's getting long, huh? We haven't had it cut since March. It's usually looking like that guy. Right there. But it's cool. I think we're going to try to see if we can make it one full year. I mean, a lot of people are telling me they like it. It's a heck of a lot of work, but kind of fun, something different. You know, you got to do something different every once in a while. When I do news shoots and other things, sometimes we do trickery. We tuck it into the back of the turtleneck, or we pull it back. We do different things. I think we did a show where we were talking about that, right? The turtleneck scenario. It's National Hat Day in the United States. There's all these different days celebrating hats. So, you know, sometimes on this show, I wear one of those cool hats that you guys really enjoy. So here are some different hats over the years that yours truly has worn as we celebrate National Hat Day, which is, again, something that, again, it seems like every day there's something. But you know what? With everything we've all been through, celebrating anything is positive. So there's some different hats over the years that I've worn. I am a big hat collector. It's my friend Elaine Werner, dear friend. Of course, that's at Citi Field in New York City. That is rooting on the New York Mets. We got the cap on there. Different hats. This is also in New York City at the Explorers Club, which is fantastic. Really, really beautiful place. We were at a function there with friends and colleagues. This one actually is the coast of southern New England. That is in beautiful Old Saybrook, Connecticut. Really, really nice with the lighthouse in the back. This one is in Florida, USA. Different hats. This one's in New York City. Out and about, again, celebrating National Hat Day. That's in New York as well. There we are. Another look with the hat. Boom. And another one here with the hat. I was actually emceeing a concert there in New York. We were playing tennis. There we go. Hats, hats, hats. Loving the hats. Different hats, different occasions. So did you wear your hat today for National Hat Day? That's in Florida. That's actually on a TV shoot. I'm actually the lifestyle travel TV series that I host. We get a chance to eat a lot of different foods, including pizza. And this is with James Blake, the tennis star. We both had our hats on that day. And there you go. Lots of hats. Hats, hats, hats. So we're celebrating National Hat Day here in the United States. And I know you probably, some of you said, where's your hat? Where's your hat? Well, I figured I'd show the pictures this time. We gave the hat a rest. One of my friends who was a guest on our show, the brilliant guitarist John LaBarbera. Remember when he was on? He's going to be coming back on the show. He wants to come back on real soon and play more music for everybody. But he is also a wonderful hat collector and wears a lot of hats as well. So there you go, celebrating National Hat Day here in the United States. Let's take a look at some of the cool comments. No, we are standing. We are not in our chair today. We are standing. We're not seated. We're moving around. Sweet dreams, Kathleen. Christine Clifton in North Carolina says, this was a brilliant show with such depth and so much talent with both David and Erin. Enjoyable and interesting evening together. All the music was superb. Thanks, Jem and David. My pleasure, Christine. You have a beautiful rest of your evening. Hi to your mom as well there in North Carolina. Wonderful evening tonight, Jim. See you tomorrow afternoon. That's right. Tomorrow afternoon, George Paris is going to be here live from Athens, Greece. And Kathy Short in Cleveland, you have a good night. And Kathleen Walker, thank you, Jim. Have a great night. Good night, all. You too. Thanks for joining us. Kathleen in New York City, my friend. Hopefully we'll be getting together soon for dinner at our usual Painting the Town Red in New York City. I haven't had a chance to do that. Nobody has. Good night, everyone, from Erin. Thank you, Erin. Thank you to you and David. It was a blast. And Saturday has come, but it's worth it. Thanks for this entertaining show, Jim. See you soon. Thank you. It's my pleasure, Carla, watching in Brazil. Maureen's, and you have a good evening as well. Another fabulous evening in Levity Hall. Thank you, Jim. Your guests never disappoint. Thank you very much, Maureen. You have a good evening as well. Yes, very enjoyable. Thank you, Gary in Iowa, USA. Wayne says, wonderful. Or is it, how did Lawrence Welk say it? Wonderful, with the bubbles. Thank you, Wayne. Good to have you with us. I hope you watch regularly. For those of you new to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, we've been doing this since April, 235 episodes, all on our YouTube channel. And you can binge watch. A lot of people do. They binge watch on demand. You can check everything out on our YouTube channel. They are all there. Sherrill says, love you guys. Congratulations. Cynthia, good night and thanks for good evening. My pleasure. Lovity forever. That's right. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it. Thank you, Eva. I hope, Eva Maria, I hope you will be back soon. We'd love to have you here. Tomorrow we have 2 shows, 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern. Unbelievable. Busy, busy day. Tomorrow, the whole weekend. Night, June, you as well, my friend. Hopefully we get together soon. Sharon says, beautiful interview with brilliant music and enjoyable travelogue. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Sharon, and I hope that you continue to watch and tell everybody about this experience that you had tonight on the Jim Masters Show Live. And anybody watching on YouTube, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. That'd be cool. I know many, many people did tonight. We thank all of you who have done that. We appreciate that. More great content and shows coming your way. Love this show. Great job, Jim Masters. Thank you very much, Cheryl. We love you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you continue to spread the good cheer and the lovity by telling everybody about our show. We would love that, and tune in. And Bernadette's, and you have a good night, Cheryl. And thank you, David and Erin, for a enjoyable evening. What a treat it's been. I agree, it really was. Again, these shows, there's a structure to it because we treat this like a television show, more than like a stream or a podcast. It's actually formatted like a TV show would be, Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. But I don't script anything, and we don't use teleprompter or any of that. It's free-flowing, it's conversational, and I love that. And I love the fact we do it live. A lot of people do stuff where it's all pre-recorded and edited. I think there's something about live. Plus, it gives you guys the opportunity to participate and feel like you're a part of the show as well during the live show. And I think that's very cool. Thank you very much. Absolutely to you as well for watching. Every day is Lovity Day, Kathleen. I love that. We're going to have to create, I think I'm going to create a National Lovity Day. Maybe we should do it on Valentine's Day. But then again, like Kathleen said, every day is Lovity Day. Cool. You guys are the best. Now, a few things we always do at the end of our show. We've already told you about some of the amazing guests that are coming up on the show. Whew, this is almost a 4-hour show. My God. We're going to have to stretch our legs. Don't forget to smile, gang. I know we've been through a lot in the last 10, 11 months, but there is hope and good things on the way. Continue to inspire others. Smile, share the smile, because when you do, it's the best kind of contagion you could have is sharing love and sharing smiles. So try to smile as much as you can. Don't forget to share the Lovity, which is, again, something that just happened to happen here on the Jim Masters Show Live when we created Lovity, the word. So share the Lovity and find your Zen place. David talked about the ocean and his love of the ocean. I love the ocean as well. Grew up in the ocean. Well, not in the ocean, but near it in the northeastern United States. And we live near the ocean right now as well. And it's my Zen place, the ocean. Numero uno would be loving family and friends, always first. And then tennis and writing and music and all the other things we do. But the ocean is my place for peace and tranquility and centering and balance. Also my work in television and radio all these years, and all the wonderful people I've had an opportunity to work with, and all the places that I've had an opportunity to work with and continue to work with is truly a blessing as well. And all of you are a blessing. Something else we do before we check out, we always tell everybody to relax. Relax, breathe, love one another, take care of one another, and take care of yourself. Make sure that you love yourself as well, and relax. Again, breathe from the diaphragm. It's the best way to do it because you get that full breath. It's very balancing and centering. So with all the craziness that's gone on in the last, few days, but the last 10, 11 months, relax, breathe, take time for yourself. And as we've talked about this evening, we tend to talk about on a lot of the shows, celebrate and cherish some of those simple, constant things in life. That's what we all should do and need to do, those constants, whether it's the ocean, whether it's nature, whether it's having love and light around you, your family, your friends, checking in on somebody, music like we celebrated this evening, a good old movie, whatever it is, a nostalgic TV show or something that pleases you. Do it. Do it. Life is short. Do it now and share it with the world. That's one of the things we're doing with the Jim Masters Show Live. Again, this is an extension of the professional work I've done for years on television, radio, and multimedia and stage. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy it every night. So we'll continue doing it for you as long as you guys are here spreading the levity. Christine says, good night. Thanks again. Good night, Jim and Lovities. Stay safe out there. You as well. It was so nice to have an entertaining evening with such lovely conversations. Thanks, Jim. My pleasure. My pleasure. Gang, we're back tomorrow. Special time again. George Paris is here, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, live from Athens, Greece. Then John Prue at 7 p.m. Eastern, Grammy-winning composer and pianist, Saturday night. And then Sunday, Nathan Carter is here. We're looking forward to that. 3 p.m. Eastern, New Pacific, 8 p.m. GMT. For everybody here, I appreciate you and I thank you for joining us. This is Jim Masters, your host. Wherever you're watching around the world, everybody is welcome. Doesn't matter your gender, your zip code, your height, weight, your, political affiliation, religious affiliation, how much money you got in the bank, or what side of the tracks you live on. Everybody's welcome on the Jim Masters Show Live for a full experience. And every night is something different. Every show is something different. A lot of variety on this entertainment lifestyle talk show series. And that's what we love doing for you and you and you and you, as we always say. Good night, gang. Love you all. We will see you tomorrow if you're with us. Big weekend ahead on the Jim Masters Show Live. You take care and be well. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Have a good night.